Karen is from Chesapeake, Virginia. Okay, Karen, just tell us what it's like. This is kind of surreal, isn't it?
This is electric. It's amazing. It was easy to get to. The metro was amazing to ride in, easy to get through the gates. I'm a new fan. And
You've been to NASCAR.
I have.
What do you like better? How does this compare to NASCAR?
I like this better. This is more electric. It's faster, and just the environment is just amazing.
You think you'll move around a little bit and kind of go to the different venues, and you're going to be here tomorrow for the main race.
Absolutely.
Have fun, Karen. Thanks for talking to us.
To do it more often.
Hopefully they will.
Fox Sports and IndyCar teamed up with the First Lady to support her Fostering the Future initiative, ensuring that foster youth have the tools and support to build bright futures.
Fostering the Future is more than an educational initiative. It is generational investment in America's talent pipeline.
We're so excited today to be part of launching this commitment to fostering the future.
Mrs. Trump, thank you for your leadership in opening these critical doors. You are making a powerful impact for these kids.
A live look at the Beast. You heard the president talking about his plans. He will be in a special location, of course, watching this race along with us after greeting the drivers, the motorcade. Elio, if you had to drive the Beast, I wonder what those, I guess those guys, I don't know how fast they have to go. In the movies, we see them like, tearing
doing everything, right? Yeah. So I think it's a little bit heavy, in terms of how fast you want to go, but no question. Well, Danica knows more about the Beast because you said there was some story that they're armored and they have all this.
Well, I've ridden
things.
with Secret Service detail from. I'm friends with a few people in D.C. and I was asking the drivers about Secret Service, about their experience, if they get special training, if the car is souped up, is it extra fast, and essentially the car is really just heavier and safer. But when they try and add horsepower and do those things to it, it kind of makes other things fail. But as drivers, really, their protection as Secret Service is that the car is bulletproof and hard to beat.
In Brazil, believe it or not, because of the safety down there, most of the people have bulletproof cars. I mean, it's sad.
Do you have a bulletproof car?
I have a bulletproof car, yes.
Wow, you have that many enemies, huh? They're going about, 50 miles per hour here. They're going to take about 7 laps. We saw the history of presidential cars. No country, though, has a car culture quite like ours.
So I'm going to have to jump right now. I'll continue the pre-show after the show. Scott Bessent has just walked up on stage, going to be announcing what they're going to be doing to Iran. Yes, I do have a new background. I'll tell you about that afterwards. Don't want you to miss what Scott Bessent is going to be talking about right now. So he just walked out. Let's go ahead and cut to it so you guys can see what's going on. As soon as I turn on the volume.
Against the Islamic Republic of Iran and its enablers. In the Second World War, D-Day marked the historic beginning of a campaign with our allies to target and drive the enemy from its positions, including those in third countries. Today, in that same spirit, we are launching an economic onslaught against Iran's financial connections around the globe. Our objective is to sever every economic lifeline that sustains this tyrannical regime until Tehran stands alone. Iran's fanatics devote themselves to death to America and seek nuclear weapons to do just that. They have murdered and maimed more of our citizens and service members than any other terrorist regime on earth. And they have been at war against America, their neighbors in the Gulf, and much of the world for 47 years. President Trump has taken action that his predecessors have long deferred. And under his leadership, America is no longer managing the Iranian threat. We are ending it. Our great armed forces have laid the groundwork for achieving the president's objective of preventing Iran from ever obtaining nuclear weapons. They have shown America's resolve to finally end this threat. and the strength of America's economy under President Trump allows us to wage this sustained financial operation alongside the might of our military. Iran now faces a very clear choice with only two paths before them: complete global isolation and a subsistence economy, or a path back to normalcy with an opportunity to rejoin the global economy. Today, we are launching Operation Economic Outcast to foreclose every other option available to the Iranian regime. Treasury has mapped every node, every facilitator, and every network that Iran has used to smuggle oil and evade sanctions. Beginning today, the actions of Treasury and other agencies will tighten the noose and block every potential source of revenue that funds the IRGC and the evil Iranian regime. We are enforcing a zero leakage approach. There will be no minimal breathing space for the regime to rebuild its capacity to inflict terror against America and the world. The final refuge of this regime is the mistaken conclusion of nations that still finance the Iranian threat in the hopes of evading it. It is no longer acceptable to operate in the gray spaces of this conflict. Countries cannot claim they are blind to enabling this activity. Iran's enablers purchase, transport its petroleum. They facilitate the flow of its finances through exchange houses and free trade zones. They welcome Iran's flights and maintain registries on its behalf. They turn a blind eye to seaborne fuel transfers and overland transits. They condone illicit use of their banks, all the while concealing the extent of their complicity. The president is making phone calls to world leaders with specific requests to cease their interactions with the regime. We are already seeing results. Over the weekend, comments from Iranian leadership clearly acknowledged the effect of this campaign, and nations that facilitate any interactions with the regime should quickly heed our message. Those who stand with the United States will reap the rewards of our partnership. Those who tether themselves to the Iranian regime should expect to share in the isolation of a withering regime. Teams from Treasury, State, and the U.S. military are now meeting with their global counterparts to tell them that the United States expects action. Every country has a defined timeline to shut down activities we have identified. If they do not take action, we will do so unilaterally through Treasury authorities. For example, every branch of Bank Melay must be shuttered and dark. And let me be clear, any entity that facilitates money laundering on behalf of Iran will be removed from the U.S. dollar system. The clock just started ticking. The new sectoral sanctions determinations issued today target 5 of Iran's most vital lifelines that it exploits in other countries: digital assets, technology, gold, aviation, and shipping. These measures broaden secondary sanctions risk for anyone foolish enough to continue conducting business with this regime, and will accelerate the speed with which we pursue them. As I speak, Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control is also sanctioning over 60 entities, individuals, and vessels around the world that enable the Iranian regime to procure illicit nuclear and missile technology, conduct cyber operations, and generate oil revenue. This is a sustained campaign to collapse every last option for Iran. Let there be no ambiguity as to the position of the United States. An economic engagement of any kind with this murderous regime will expose those responsible to the full reach of American power. For decades, this regime has drawn strength from a calculus that regards Iranian retaliation as certain and American enforcement as negotiable. Under President Trump, that era is over. To the ordinary soldiers supporting this regime, As more and more of your paychecks stop or are supposedly just delayed, ask whether your commanders are leading your country to triumph or to ruin. And recall that the Berlin Wall fell when ordinary soldiers decided not to shoot at their own people. And to those who enable Tehran, do not discount the cost of testing Washington's resolve. No nation should expect to enjoy the rewards of our system while helping those who seek to destroy it. It is now a time for world leaders to make a decision between prosperity and isolation, peace and terror, America and Iran. The campaign we begin today will gather force with every day that follows, and it will not end until this regime stands alone. With that, I welcome your questions. David from Reuters.
Hi, thanks, Secretary. One of the most powerful tools you have at your disposal is the ability to impose secondary sanctions on banks and financial institutions that facilitate transactions for Iran. Chinese banks have often been talked about being targeted, but we don't see any of those institutions targeted here. Is that something that is coming in this campaign, or is the very delicate trade truce with China something that could prohibit you from going that far and taking that very big step?
We're not going to name names, that we've already seen some results, and that I am confident the president, as you all know, is quite persuasive, and we are following his calls up with calls from visits and calls from the State Department and from the U.S. Treasury, expecting them, or telling the leaders, the countries, and the entities exactly what we expect and the timelines. And I would expect that very quickly, if they do not respond, then you will see the ramifications of their actions.
Can you say how far the timelines are?
Again, I'm not going to set timelines, but we do not have infinite patience here. Jennifer?
Thank you so much, Mr. Secretary. Jennifer Schonberger with Yahoo Finance. You just said moments ago that no one is above U.S. sanctions. What specific secondary sanctions or penalties is Treasury prepared to levy against Chinese banks and shipping firms if they do not comply? And then secondly, as you look to take these unprecedented sanctions, you've also said that as the Iran conflict fades and oil prices recede, that will help bring down long-term bond yields. In the meantime, you have mentioned your toolkit, and I'm curious if you are looking at reducing auction sizes for longer-term dated Treasury debt going forward, and what other actions you may consider from that toolkit.
Yeah, well, why don't we work backwards? We issued the quarterly refunding announcement 2.5 weeks ago. We are going to continue with our regular program of auctions, so you will be hearing from us again at the beginning of next quarter. In terms of, as I said, every country, every entity should know that they should be prepared to face U.S. sanctions. And no one is above this. We are going to hold everyone accountable, and this is economic asphyxiation of this regime. And Jennifer, as I said, no one should test our resolve. So, Josh from the New York Post.
You said you weren't going to name names, but there's been some reports that the United Arab Emirates is among some of the first nations to take seriously these words from the United States to cut off all business interactions with Iran. Is UAE leading the way in this respect?
I would think that the actions that they took last week were not coincident, but likely causal. And I would expect that we would see a broad array of countries taking similar actions as we continue our engagement. The UAE have been very good partners and have taken the brunt of the Iranian attacks in the Gulf. And what have these countries gotten over the years from appeasing Iran? They were subject to violent attacks. While we were bombing Iran, they were bombing them. So it shows that with this regime, appeasement does not work. And on the other side, with this regime, trying to buy appeasement will no longer work in the eyes of the United States of America. And I want to emphasize that we are spreading out across the world as we speak, that you will see a wave of sanctions when you leave this meeting today, and you should expect that cadence to continue. And I would expect that you will see a major announcement of a financial institution being sanctioned by the end of this week. So, Samira from Sky. Yep. No. No. Are you? No. I'm looking for Samira from Sky.
Al Jazeera English.
No. Hi.
Does the United States and President Trump still want Canada to become a state? He did say that they're getting all the benefits of being a state without being one.
I think he would like Canada to come to the table and negotiate in good faith. They were offered quite a good deal last week. They chose to reject it. Unfortunately, Prime Minister Carney rose to power on an anti-American, anti-Trump platform. I believe he was more than 20 points behind, and he seems to have gone back to his old playbook. And I think one has to ask oneself, is he trying to benefit himself, the Liberal Party, or the Canadian people? Because they were offered a very good job. So, yep, you.
Thank you, Secretary Bessent. If I could shift to bond yields quickly. We saw them tick down today after some turbulence and going up last week. Can you tell us if there's any possibility that there will be more bond buybacks anytime soon?
Again, we haven't bought a single bond yet. The next time we have an operation is September 9th. So we will see on September 9th. All right. One more. Let's see. You in the front.
You described this as an economic D-Day, but D-Day wasn't a threat of an invasion, and the U.S. didn't give a timeline to Germany. So why not impose the sanctions today?
Well, we are giving everyone the opportunity to remedy bad behavior. Why would I want to blow up the global financial system? We believe that it is important to level set and give people a cure period, but they should know that that will move very quickly and that we are serious. Secondary sanctions are a very powerful tool, and we here at Treasury, this is Jean Lang, the Acting Undersecretary for Terrorism Finance, and in the Terrorism Finance Department and at OFAC, the reason we are able to use secondary sanctions is because we do not take their use lightly. So we believe that a warning shot and a level set of expectations is appropriate. And if people do not want to meet our expectations, then we expect, and they should expect, that they will leave the dollar system. Okay, thank you all.
All right, the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent there announcing Economic D-Day, as he calls it, Operation Economic Outcast for Iran, identifying, Sandra, all of Iran's streams of revenue from sales of oil and seeking to close those off, pinch them off, and to take action against any country that continues having an economic relationship with Iran, the goal being to isolate the regime and hopefully watch it implode from within.
Yeah, Bessent saying, quote, Iran faces complete global isolation, noting that we've been watching oil prices as the Treasury Secretary was announcing these sanctions. Oil down $2.31 right now, a pretty significant sell-off, down 2.5%. He said President Trump will be making those phone calls to world leaders with specific requests, he says, to seize their interactions with Iran. This happening all over the world. He said that the sanctions...
So here, you guys want my take. Some of you guys are like, what's Barry going to say about this? Here's what Barry's going to say about that. Iran is fucked. I didn't say the word. I used a different word. They are completely cooked. Now, understand what you're going to see here. You're going to see over the next, 2 to 4 hours, every liberal, panicking, doomer, fake pollster running around with their hair literally on fire. Because any moves that the Trump administration makes, they have to do the opposite. They have to make sure that they activate the orcs. So you're going to see that. So I'm going to go into that a little bit later after I go over a couple things. And I just want you to, at this point, maybe it's time to just ignore these people. I found out some things over the weekend. I looked back and forth. I went back and forth with SV. We talked, and what it seems at this point is they just are there to do nothing more than to feed the orcs. They have figured out that monetization of the doomsayers is the only way they're going to make money. They cannot compete on any sort of level with people who talk, real stuff. Some of them are not monetized on YouTube, so they can spew whatever they want on X. They can say whatever they want on Rumble. A lot of these things are unmonitored, so they can just say whatever they want. They can call everybody names, and they will post 100 times a day, doom, doom, doom. And so at this point, and I'll get into it in a little while, we got to start, I think, ignoring some of these people. Now, I want to show you some things because here's what's going to happen. You're going to see the arrhythmia in the markets real quick. So right now, this is what the markets look like. We have the Dow is up 87, S&P, NASDAQ are all slightly down right now. S&P falls slightly as chip stocks slide outweigh yield decline. Headline story, Trump says U.S. will hike Canada auto tariffs to 50%. It's game on. I firmly believe what we are seeing was the plan all along. September 1st, I think all of this is going into the midterms where they're going to attack. Now, there's been a lot of waiting, giving these people time. Now it's on. And they can't turn back. You're not going to turn back once your economy collapses. President Trump posted, and very simple post, Iran is completely collapsing. Very simple. That was at 8:41 this morning. They know what's going to happen. The U.S. dollar, despite everybody who says Trump sucks and people hate Trump, the U.S. dollar still carries so much muscle. The U.S. consumer carries so much muscle. Despite the doomers and panicans, which is why you have to ignore them, is because they know the U.S. consumer wants to buy more stuff. There's going to be something happening, I don't know, in this, next 90 days, and I'm not even talking about the midterms, that every one of these foreign countries that hope to profit off of the American consumer knows is coming. They set their calendar by it. I'm pretty sure you guys can think of what's coming, that all these companies need to be involved in the American consumerism. Communists don't like it, Democrats don't like it, but a lot of money is going to be made over the next 90 days. A crap load of money. If you play, if you're a good boy and girl, because Santa Trump is taking a list. They just announced it. You're either going to be naughty or nice. You get to play on Christmas. You get to play through the holiday season of Thanksgiving and New Year's if you do the right thing. If you're a good boy or girl, we'll let you play. So all of you right now who are going to see the Panicans go into complete doom mode have to understand what is happening right now. We have a number of high-profile consumer events getting ready to happen. One of them we are already in the midst of, actually two of them. We are in the midst of the NFL season. We are approaching the college football season. We are at the beginning of the back-to-school market. Oh, China loves their back-to-school market. Basically, everything that we pick up and buy has China on the back of it. So there's a whole lot of money involved in back-to-school. And then, of course, you get Halloween. Ooh, a lot of stuff from other countries get bought during Halloween. Then, of course, Thanksgiving takes us right into the holiday season and Christmas. Perfect timing. You want to freak people out whose entire balance sheets are predicated on what's happening in the next 90 to 120 days? You just did it. But you're not going to hear that from the Democrats. You're not going to hear that from the Panicans. They can't even think that far. Oh, Trump's out there crazy. Oh, he's falling asleep in a meeting. Okay. I bet you a lot of people just got the alarm clock ring. You know why? It's because of what I've been telling you. It's because of what so many people are fearful of. It's because of what the Democrats are trying to shy away from. Money. You just saw, in no uncertain terms, money friggin' talks. BS, Alex, Panicans, Candace, BS walks. If you're afraid of prosperity, you missed what just happened today. There's going to be a bevy of winners crowned, and a whole lot of losers are going to sink off into the sunset. And if you're not following, like I've been trying to admonish you, guys, up your financial IQ, well, you just heard the starter gun go off. Scott Bessent just went out there. He's not the most eloquent of speakers, but he's super intelligent. Super intelligent. And he just said, you, and you, not going to play in this market if you're messing with these guys. Canada just heard. Canada, you're screwed. Oh, but how could he be doing this to our allies? You know, the people that really care, they've been with us all along. Yeah, screw you. Canada has been ripping off the United States of America for years. Their ridiculously high tariffs on our farmers and farm products has made life impossible for those great American patriots and has long created a $60 billion deficit between our two countries. It's not sustainable, and not anymore. On January 1st, 2027, all cars, trucks, both large and small, automotive parts, steel will be increased to 50%. Build in the U.S., and there are zero tariffs. Canada will be treated like a state no longer on trade and in other ways. Also, they're amongst the worst nations in the world to deal with. They feel entitled, and yet we don't need Canada. They need us. Anybody doubt that? Of course you don't. They do 95% of their business with the U.S., with us, the exact opposite. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Yep, it's going to cause the liberals all kinds of consternation. They're going to freak out. How could you do this to our best, they're our allies. F you. Pay me. The time of America being the doormat financially for so many nations is over. Scott Bessent fired the starting gun, and I hope you guys are all paying attention. In fact, the New York Times, I can't show it to you per se, is because it's behind a paywall. Actually, it opened up. So, no, it just says one-day offer. But anyway, the New York Times just posted something. President Trump, let me see if I can find what he said, because their paywall is up, and I can't show it to you. But the New York Times posted an article that said 50% tariffs in Canada is going to cause a lot of the companies up north to want to come back down or open up in the United States. Absolutely crazy. Here it is right here. The article has a paywall. Trump's tariffs will force some Canadian companies to consider moving south. Why would they be moving south? They need American consumers. They need American dollars. I think that's part of the reason why the commies, socialists, and the left have tried to downplay money so much. Because if it's not important to people here, then it's okay if other people rob us. That's one of the problems. People have gotten so afraid of thinking about being prosperous, of thinking about making money, that they become terrified of money. And now President Trump's like, you know who you want to see fear? We're going to show you fear. We're going to have your businesses move here because they need us. And when he says us, what he's talking about is our money, our consumers. So how can you be afraid of prosperity when the rest of the world is seeking it out? How can you be afraid of prosperity when all the other countries recognize, oh, they got money? It's something that's gone on, some sort of hypnotization that has just made people crazy about talking about prosperity. That's on you. The rest of the world knows it. Your president knows it. And all they've been doing in the news lately is, oh, it's horrible. People in America are broke. They can't afford anything. They're struggling. If that's true, and yes, there may be a certain portion of the country struggling, but if it's true that we are a struggling economic country, then why are people freaking out about these tariffs? Why are they freaking out that these other countries like Canada are going to have to pay up? Because they wouldn't be paying up if we're broke. There'd be nothing to consume here if we were all broke. There'd be no Christmas. We'd be canceled this year. Thanksgiving canceled. Halloween canceled. No more football games. Nothing. What do they know that you don't? That's the thing that has to be going through people's mind at this point as you're watching this play out, as Scott Bessent walked out on stage and went, you're done. You're out. You're out. And then, I don't know if you caught one of the small things he said, which is going to be a big thing. He said you're going to hear about a major bank in the next couple of weeks that we're chopping off. You think any bank in America, especially any bank that takes credit cards or processes merchant accounts, you think any bank in America wants to have the cord cut right before the holidays? I want you to think about that. I need you to think a lot about that. That ain't happening. So President Trump also, I want to show you a couple of things, and it's very subtle way, actually not too subtle. He posted a series of pictures. I got 3 pictures I want to show you. Let me see if I got these in chronological order. Let's see here. Yeah, actually it didn't have to be because they're all posted at the exact same time. He posted this of him and Rocket Man at August 24th, as you can see, 12:59 p.m. What is he saying there? Who's he speaking to? I'm going to tell you, and I don't know if I have time today, but I think he's talking to South Korea. I don't think this is a message to China. I think it's a message to South Korea. Then he posted this a short time later. Again, 12:59 p.m., all at the same time. Now a close-up figure of he and Rocket Man. And then third, he posted this at 12:59. I don't know how that happened. Well, I know it's through software, but he posted that. 3 pictures of he and the North Korean leader walking around. First over there. No, it is. This one's over there too. This is when he went over there because Kim Jong-un has not been here. So 3 pictures in a row of him walking with the Rocket Man. You want to explain that one? It's not for China. It's for South Korea. He's telling South Korea, get your crap together. See, a lot of people haven't been paying attention to that and understanding what's going on with South Korea. Do you remember what happened last week? Last week, people were pissed off because Trump said something to South Korea. Oh, another one of our allies. Do you know what's going on in South Korea? I bet you don't. But you're going to find out if I can get to it today, if I have enough time, because when I say time, just want to let you know, President Trump is coming out at 2:30. I have a video of J.D. Vance. I don't know if I'll be able to get to that, depending on the sequence. And J.D. Vance gave a speech in Maine today. And so there's a whole lot of stuff happening really quickly. And I just, after this past weekend, I just want to celebrate what we went through. So before I get to the show, let me check in with SB, see if he's got any news. What up, brother?
Speaking about winning, bro.
You're gonna do me like that, huh? Oh God.
Hey, they don't get many wins. I gotta celebrate everyone when they get it, like every couple of years.
You know, it was really funny too. Based on everything we've been seeing, it was surprising to me when Robin and I pulled into the stadium that there were other people there. And then when we walked in, there was lots of people there. So I don't get this, everybody's broke thing when there's like 60,000 people standing there.
Yeah, that looks like prosperity to me.
Looks like cha-ching. And then tonight, I'm going to have to cut the show short, depending on what President Trump does. We're heading down to the baseball stadium because my favorite baseball team happens to be here in Florida today. The Boston Red Sox, Bo Sox, and so they're playing the Marlins. And it's funny. I texted SB a picture. Excuse me. It looked like a New York Giants home game. All the Northerners were packed in there. Like it's a sea of, instead of the aqua blue, it was a sea of navy blue. It was amazing. I loved it. We had so much fun. Well, kinda. The game sucked. The game sucks. So just want to let you know, SV, because SV hadn't seen it either. They literally, the technicians just got done hooking up the big screen back here. So that's the new look of things. That screen there. I didn't have time to make a custom backdrop, so I just have a flag going. But I can change it to anything I want to, and put up all kinds of different stuff back there. So I'm excited about that. I love changing things and doing things differently. All right, you got any news? What do you got?
A couple things. I mean, clandestine spoke about the Iran is completely collapsing, and then a couple other things, the WNBA, and then another one on Lindsey Clancy. So a couple varied topics. So which one would you like to start with?
Let's go with this one.
Okay, so this was a little while ago. He was putting his thoughts. POTUS says Iran is completely collapsing. It was only a matter of time. They cannot sell their oil to China. Their economy is crushed. They cannot pay their soldiers, and they do not have the means to defend themselves or fight back. Trump and the U.S. military don't have to do anything. They just have to maintain their overwhelmingly dominant position, and Iran will implode from within. Modern-day siege warfare. I hesitate to even call this a war because Iran had a 0% win probability from the get-go. There was maybe a 48-hour period where you could even call this war in the traditional sense. It was a vastly superior and technologically advanced military force that precisely exterminated key military targets while maintaining the civilian population and infrastructure, all without putting boots on the ground. That's huge. The only real obstacle we have to manage is the corrupt MSM, who want to make the people believe this was a failure, when in reality it will go down as the most successful military operation in history. Well said. Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, our enemy at this point is here. It's the media. It's the panicans. It's the doomers. It's the fake. Oh, wait a minute. Did I say? Dare I say fake pollsters? It seems as though somebody had something to say about that. Yeah, it was this guy here. He had something to say. The radical left Democrats are going crazy with fake polls. They're putting them out at levels never seen before. They're called demoralization operations. boy, ain't that the word, where they try to demoralize Republicans so that they don't go out and vote. But the actual polls are tremendous, and the spirit in our country has never been higher. We're winning against everyone, including Iran, whose country is in economic and military death spiral. Thank you for your attention to this matter. All the polls, including from this one guy we all happen to see. I mean, his polls. Wow.
You mean the dishonest shilster?
I at this point, I was trying to maintain decorum, and after
I'm sorry. Blame it on me, Barry.
And what I've seen today, I'm done. And I'm glad President Trump put it out there. It's a demoralization operation. When 100 posts per day, and every single post, not once in a while, every single post is negative, then you know it truly is a demoralization operation. When you look at the headlines of some of the videos the same group of people are putting out, every single video, every single post, it all is negative. He can never do anything good. It just nothing. MAGA, you're done. You're finished. And if you keep consuming that, you're gonna have diarrhea because it's just you're just bringing in crap.
My advice to folks is to do your due diligence, do more research, because a lot of people see a headline and it sticks to them, and they don't. You go, is this true? You got to do the research, folks. Stay ahead of it. Things are looking good. Trust me.
Very, very good.
I used to work for the government.
And you know, it's funny, SV, like I said, one of the things I keep talking about the sporting events, we're going to talk about the race here in a second, is I saw it with my own eyes. And if people aren't venturing out and seeing things, if they don't see shops, if they don't see restaurants, if you're not doing any of that, it is easy to stay home and think, yeah, everything sucks. Until you venture out and go, wait a minute, there's people actually here having fun? Yeah, I'll take some video tonight. So you got another one here. What's this one? I skipped the WNBA because I got to talk to you about that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So Gunther Eagleman, he wrote up a little thing about the whole, just summarizing a lot of things the way I'm feeling as well. He goes, I'm done pretending this insanity is normal. Liberals will defend Lindsey Clancy, mock Charlie Kirk, turn nearly everything into a race war, and suddenly go silent when innocent victims don't fit their political narrative. They'll wave somebody else's flag on American soil while making excuses for people disrespecting ours. F the double standards, F the selective outrage. I'll stand for America, our flag, our people, and our values every single damn time. Amen.
Absolutely. You want to see something in terms of how they say everything is racist. I was going to do a separate video on this. Ashley has asked me to start doing recordings in the morning and doing separate videos, things that aren't they're not going to be a full segment, but things that might want to talk about. I want to show you the insanity in full bloom here. Look at this. After a thunderstorm last night, 100,000 households in Memphis are without power, possibly until Thursday. It's 90 degrees outside, and another majority black working class city left in the dark. So now, weather, thunderstorms are racist. The thunderstorm, somewhere God said, you know what, go blast them. They're not worth anything. Go blast them or something, all right? It's absolutely insane at this point. And by the way, Memphis is a black-run city. Yeah, that's the other part about it. I don't know if people know it, but I'm sure there he is. So
there you go.
I'm in the comments. There it is. Here is the mayor of Memphis. He's not responsible for city first and foremost. Have you asked him? No, because you can't do that. You can't call out the other ones.
So we're back to climate change? I mean, Greta Thunberg.
No. It's not climate change. It's racist change. Racist climate.
Yeah, it's racist climate change. Oh, that's a new one. Okay.
They got nothing.
Make it make sense.
They literally have nothing. Oh, my gosh. All right, so I'm not even doing any commercials today because I got to get all this content in before we get on to the baseball game. So let me pick up where we began talking about the race, because that's a big story from this past weekend.
Will be in a special location, of course, watching this race along with us after greeting the drivers, the motorcade. Elio, if you had to drive the Beast, I wonder what those. I guess those guys, I don't know how fast they have to go. In the movies, we see them tearing
doing everything right. Yeah. So I think it's a little bit heavy, in terms of how fast you want to go, but. No question. Well, Danica knows more about the Beast, because you said there was some story that they're armored and they have all this.
Well, I've ridden with Secret Service detail from. I'm friends with a few people in D.C. and I was asking the drivers about Secret Service, about their experience, if they get special training, if the car is souped up, is it extra fast, and essentially the car is really just heavier and safer. But when they try and add horsepower and do those things to it, it kind of makes other things fail. But as drivers, really, their protection as Secret Service is that the car is bulletproof and hard to beat.
In Brazil, believe it or not, because of the safety down there, most of the people have bulletproof cars. I mean, it's sad.
Do you have a bulletproof car?
I have a bulletproof car, yes.
Wow, you have that many enemies, huh? They're going about, what, I don't know, 50 miles per hour here. They're going to take about 7 laps. We saw the history of presidential cars. No country, though, has a car culture quite like ours. President Jefferson celebrated the 25th year of our country with horse races, and there is President Trump. These are live pictures, and he brought IndyCar to D.C. to celebrate 250 years celebrating our birthday. He's saying hello to the 7 Indy 500 drivers that are active in today's race, and you won 4 of those.
That's right.
When you watch this,
normally the Indy 500 winner just go right after the race win. They celebrate with the team and the sponsors, right at the White House. So I won 4 times, and I never had that opportunity, Chris. I'm not sure why. I mean, is this something against Brazil or Brazilian
no.
me?
It's just probably a matter of timing. We have connections. We'll see what we can do this time.
Maybe you should run down there, Elio. I don't think they're too far away. You can go and sort of, throw your name in there.
Or maybe it's an opportunity next year so I can get number 5. And then go make it happen.
I like that. I think the universe is waiting for your magical number 5.
There we go. What a thrill. There's the First Lady. What a thrill for these drivers. It must be to a sitting president here involved in that. And we'll be talking a little bit later with First Lady Melania Trump as we continue live. It's been a busy weekend here.
What a day so far. What has it been like watching the streets of D.C. transform into a racetrack?
It's an incredible day. I think everybody did an amazing job, DC and also IndyCar, Fox Corporation, and it is wonderful to have them here. Very exciting, and people looking forward to this incredible event.
The other day at the White House, you hosted many of the drivers, many of us, for your initiative, Fostering the Future, where you help those that are aging out of the foster care system. Why is this so important to you?
Well, Fostering the Future provides the scholarship at university level for within foster care community, and it's very important because we need to support them. They need to have the same opportunity as other children, and I'm very proud to say that we had the first doctor graduating it, and we have now 26 universities all around the country who they have foster students, and incredible what we are doing with that initiative. A few months ago, we signed Fostering the Future accounts, and I encourage every governor in every state to sign in and support foster children, so once they're aging out of foster care, they could have financial support and be independent.
I understand you're a race fan, so what has it been like taking a lap and meeting the drivers?
It was exciting, of course. Yes, when I was growing up, my father introduced me to the races and to the race cars, and he owned some incredible cars from Maserati and Cougar and Mustang, Mercedes. So he introduced me to design of cars and the mechanics and also the speed, and I loved it every minute of it.
And Mr. President, it has taken a lot of people to make this happen. Why was it important to you to bring IndyCar to the streets of D.C.?
Well, Roger told me they've been trying to do it for 20 years, and he'd come down. I think he said he was down 211 times to try and get it done. And when he came to see Trump, it got done in about 15 minutes, and it's turned out to be much bigger than we ever even thought possible. They actually closed the bridges. It's so many people want to come. And I think 350,000, and they closed the bridges. You have a lot of people that want to come. So it's turned out to be, I think, bigger and better. And the weather is beautiful. You know, I was hearing about rain all week long. It's going to rain. It's going to rain. I said, no, it's not. And this is as nice a day as I've seen in Washington in a long time.
Well, you've been to a lot of sporting events in person. What are you most looking forward to about your first IndyCar race here at the Freedom 250?
Just that everyone's safe, they have a good time. The track is wonderful. You know, we were going around the Capitol, but this turned out to be a better track. And so now we see the Capitol. You see it right behind you. And I want everyone to be safe, and I want the people to have a good time.
You just had a chance to meet many of the drivers, the team owners. What was your message to them about this historic day?
Again, good luck, do well, have fun. I don't want to say sort of be safe because it's sort of a negative thought, right? They don't want to be thinking about that, because if they do, generally speaking, you're not going to win when you start thinking that way. But they're great. I know many of them through name. I know some of them by being with you on a couple of occasions. But it's a great sport. And Roger's an amazing guy. Didn't he win it 20 times, the Indy 500? Nobody wins anything 20 times, anything but the Indianapolis 500. And he almost won last time by half a foot. I watched that. But Roger's been a friend of mine for a long time, and there's nobody like him.
Mr. President, thank you for hosting us. Enjoy your day, and you're going to wave the green flag.
I think so. I hear that. Yeah, I'm going to make a little circle in a nice, secure car, slightly slower than the ones we're going to witness, but we're going to have fun.
Thank you for your time.
And the home of the
We have green. We are racing in the Freedom 250.
Tell me you didn't get like little tingles watching that flyover. OMG. That was one amazing flyover. You know, one of the things that obviously I couldn't show the race. I would have loved to have shown the race yesterday, but because it was owned by Fox and they bought the sponsorship, so they had the rights to it, and that's absolutely fine. Because as many people who could possibly see it saw the event. Now, President Trump said 300, 350. Obviously, it's very hard to determine the attendance for a free event, but even Google says an estimated 200,000 attended the inaugural race of the IndyCar Freedom 250. It says race day attendance, however, reports are between 200 to 215. The mayor of D.C., Muriel Bowser, estimated attendance at roughly 140,000 for each day. That would bring it up to 280. The event held on August 23rd. The street race received as high-octane capstone event for America's 250. So, I don't know, 215, 220, 300, and any way you strike it, this was a massively successful event. And having done so many events myself, what makes this one so big is that it was the first one. So all the logistics that had to be done have never been done before. Every single thing, to, like they said the other day, welding every single pothole to make sure they didn't get sucked up by the speed and force of the cars zooming by at 200 miles an hour. All of logistics from security, making sure the timing of the flyovers, making sure this got done, making everything. This was the first time. And what I think we're going to see is this, at least while Trump is president, it may happen again next year. It was so well received. Even CNN was like, yeah, this was a pretty cool event. No incidences, nobody protesting, nobody running through the track trying to hold up the speed that they would have become roadkill if they did. But by all measures, this was a perfectly executed, flawless event celebrating America. Now, of course, you go over on X and you're going to see the doomers, the panicans, the fraudster posters whining again. How can we have this kind of stuff? Oh my gosh, when people are hungry. This is about the country, the entirety of the country, not just a sliver of the country. It's bringing American spirit back to the population, something that has been, as he said, a demoralization operation to make people not feel proud of their country. So this entire America 250, all the events, all the speeches, the fireworks, the UFC fight, everything they did was to promote patriotism, which is kryptonite to the Democrats and the socialists. You know, if you looked on their profiles, none of them said anything about the race. If they did, it was negative, that it cost too much, because their idiot fans don't understand it was paid for by donors. But it doesn't matter to them. The more they can lie, the more they can demoralize people here in this country, the better for them. When they can say babies are starving and they're running a race, well, you know what? Maybe go talk to Penske. He paid for it. Maybe go talk to Fox. They're paying for it. Obviously, going back to what I said earlier about prosperity, I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it a lot. You don't like it, time to leave. But the fact of the matter is, Penske, Fox, All these corporations wouldn't pay in to sponsor an event if they didn't feel there was a return coming back. You know the whole word investment? Maybe right now people are seeing how that's playing out in real time. This is an investment in America. And because it's an investment in America, it's going to pay off for them. Whether or not the Democrat, commie, socialists want to admit it, nobody wants to invest into socialism. Nobody wants to just dump money into a black hole. And if these people get elected, that's all we have to look forward to is nothing but a black hole. And here's another new feature. Hey, Ashley, you know what? Do this.
Ashley, you're going to want to clip that.
Yeah, so she knows where to clip a video. I hear Espy laughing in the background. Yeah, go ahead and clip that. All right, so let's go a little bit more on this 250 event.
This is a featured presentation from the Fanfare Newsroom.
It's Dana White, CEO and president of the UFC. What have you thought about the Freedom 250 so far?
Oh, it's been incredible. We just came over here in the motorcade. There's people lined up and down the streets. You know, it's such a unique, special experience to put on these events here. My Freedom 250 White House event was incredible. It was the greatest thing that I've ever been a part of, and so far so good here today.
And you kind of mentioned it. There's fans everywhere. We've seen numerous flyovers already. There's nothing but good things coming from the drivers and teams as well. What do you expect to see when this thing really gets going?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's a great race, super competitive and exciting. The weather's perfect out here. I mean, it could not be better, the weather, and everything seems set up for success today.
I agree. Thank you so much, Dana. Chris Myers.
And then everything seems to be set up for success. An understatement, a subcontext of everything that's going on with the Trump administration. We're setting things up for success. Contrary, the Democrats are setting America up for failure, utter failure. And there's so many people trying to facilitate that failure. It's insane, insane.
Go race
Yeah.
right away.
That was, yeah, it's really something, you know. You see the Secret Service, you see the cars pull up. For me, being from a small town in Australia, to end up standing and talking to an American president is surreal. You know, something I would never have dreamed of. So, you know, it was just, yeah, incredible to stand there, talk to the president and the first lady, then jump in a race car and race in Washington, D.C. So, yeah, it's not, yeah, maybe it'll get in the Toowoomba Chronicle. They might put it in. Picture of me shaking him, President Trump's hand. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought the rest of the world hated America. I'm pretty sure we've been told many, many times by the people on the left how America's a joke. People hate America. And here's a guy who gets to travel the world and his job is to drive cars very, very fast. Yeah, man, it was awesome. It was awesome seeing the Secret Service strip search me. It was awesome seeing everything that happened. Down here in the Capitol, I got to meet the president. You mean the one everybody hates, that one?
And a lot was made about the length of the race, heat, the strength it'll take. Did it feel as long as it made it out?
Great. I loved it, man. I just love endurance stuff.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I couldn't lift the trophy today. I saw it. They said it's about 55 pounds. At the end of the race, my shoulders are cooked from driving all day. There was no chance I was lifting it, so they left it on the podium there for us. It was an amazing trophy, right? I was actually touching the top of it. It's super sharp. But yeah, I mean, there's so many traditions here. I mean, we had 7 flyovers, B-2 bombers, F-22s. I can't even name all the planes that we had today. It was an American event. It wasn't just an IndyCar race. It was a full-on event for 100,000 people that came out here and for everybody that was watching at home on TV.
Well, Kyle, I think it's safe to say, at least among the Fox audience, you've made a lot of fans for Kyle Kirkwood and IndyCar, and congratulations on your win, and here's to many more. Thanks for joining us.
By the way, this is Kyle Kirkwood. He actually won the race, and I found it very interesting. What's this? Is there a report? No, it's just a picture. When he said he didn't have enough strength to lift the trophy. I don't know if you've ever gone to a race, and I've never seen an Indy race in person. I've seen NASCAR, but especially on a track that was so different than a normal big track, you're constantly turning. You're using your arms and stuff to keep turning, making those left turns. And he's like, after 250 miles of doing this, I couldn't even lift the trophy. That puts a whole different perspective on things.
Thank you, guys.
Competitive.
Announcing Kyle Kirkwood.
And we welcome our winning team owner, Dan Taurus. Here to present the Freedom 250 Grand Prix Winners Trophy is the chairman of the Freedom 250 Grand Prix, Penske Corporation President, Bud Denker.
I mean, look at the backdrop there. What an awesome backdrop. Like I said, we lived in Daytona. We saw the races. Some of you guys may have gone to Talladega or different tracks around the country. But look at that. I mean, the U.S. Capitol, Fox must have said, this is the shot. We have got to set up here. This is the most perfect shot of any race we've ever seen. I mean, you can't pay. I didn't know she was going to say that. I didn't listen to the whole clip, but yeah, she said the same thing. What an incredible backdrop.
There you go.
As a driver, you always love these memories for yourself, but I can't think of a better photo op at the top of a podium than the one that Kyle Kirkwood's going to get here with the Capitol in the background.
That's a podium and a pic that they'll remember forever, and the celebration.
We're right behind that, Chris. We're just right. I hope we don't get sprayed with champagne.
Yeah, we got to watch from turn one, and a great call again.
Sure on that, and of course it is absolutely true, but the other reason is for safety reasons. We didn't want anybody to have access to one of those manholes the night before or do something nefarious, so part of it is safety for the fans, safety for the drivers, but the suction issue is real. It happened during a Formula One race on one of the first laps in Las Vegas where they didn't have a manhole cover, and it just flew up after they zipped over the top of it.
Mike Johnson, the speaker, was just here, and he said that you guys might try to do this again next year. Do you have anything to announce?
Well, nothing to announce yet, but let's just say this is the perfect time of year to do it. Congress is on recess from economic development for our capital city. Hotels, restaurants, the people of Washington, D.C., the greater capital region all love this idea. This is a really positive thing, and if you look at the smiles on the faces of the crowd, I haven't met anybody who said, please, everybody I've met is saying, please do this again next year.
Well, this is the last big thing of America 250. Thank you
for this summer. We're celebrating 250 the entire year at our national parks, our wildlife refuges around the country. And
so, yeah, I think Doug is absolutely correct. People want this to be why wouldn't we be doing things in Washington, D.C. right there? It's perfectly made for different kind of festivals and events. Why not? Yeah, there's some extra costs with security, but even Mayor Muriel Bowser was ecstatic. As a mayor of D.C., have you noticed that she's kind of like come back towards the middle? She's kind of realized, wow, my city is safe. My city is clean. My city is prospering. She's got to be hearing it from the residents. She's got to be hearing it from the businesses. Like Doug said, the hotels packed. Probably couldn't get a hotel room anywhere near there. You probably had to go all the way by SV's house in Virginia to get a hotel room. The restaurants packed. Everybody who comes there, they're not cooking, they're eating out, packed. And so it brings an economic benefit to the city, to the entire area. Why wouldn't we continue to do this? Why do the Democrats want misery? That's one thing that people have got to begin asking themselves. Why are they such miserable pieces of crap? Why do they want people not to have fun, not to enjoy themselves? They like it. You've seen Hakeem Jeffries jamming at the Jay-Z concert. You'll see some of them will go see different bands and do things, but they don't want it for the people. To me, it amazes me at this point that so many people are just sitting back and absorbing the demoralization that people are thrusting upon Americans, trying to let us believe that this isn't the golden era, that everything that you want can't be achieved if you put your mind to it. There's nobody who's putting strings on you other than the Democrats. Nobody. Somebody sent me a video. I'll have to download it while I'm talking to SV about this woman. She made a video in her car, and it was just so inspiring as she tells you some about her life story. It's amazing what we're allowed to do in this country, the opportunities we're allowed to seize. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. All right, SV, before I go next, what do you got? Anything?
Yeah, I mean, I have cut number 3. It's a poll. So, with all the stuff that's going on recently with that Lindsay case, with the women saying, hey, it's okay to unalive, the kids. Gunther puts out a poll saying, do you believe America is ready to elect its first female president? Look at the results. I voted, obviously, no, but.
All right. So do you think America is ready to elect its first female president? So in order to see this, I'm going to have to pick one, and everyone's going to see what I picked. Now, do I believe America is ready to elect its first female president? I'm going to have to say no. Here's why. I'm going to have to explain my answer now because everyone's going to see me click it.
All right.
It doesn't say, am I ready? It says, is America ready? And so when I think about America, I'm thinking many women, many black men, many Hispanic men aren't ready for it yet. I'm just going by a generalization of race.
Okay.
Then right. I will also say there are many women who aren't ready because they want to be led by men. So is America ready? I don't think so. Let's see. Boom! 93%. It's what's probably hurting a lot of women is people are seeing this, by the way, perfect lead into where I'm going. Perfect lead in.
There you go.
Because when people look at, there's so many videos, you don't see them with men. They're not out in a field screaming. You've seen those videos. I'm like,
I know.
I show them to Robin, what are they doing? And then
not having fun.
You don't see any men that are standing up for some guy who is wanking his chicken in front of people at the beach. But don't beat him up. He just had to get off. Don't do nothing. You saw that video, didn't you?
Yeah.
And now you got this thing where even if she was under duress from PTSD part or whatever, even if that was the case, she still isn't getting out of jail. There's people advocating that she shouldn't shouldn't even be confined, because what you're saying at this point, and I don't think a lot of women realize, if you're standing up for her and saying it's not her fault because of whatever, then you are saying she's crazy. And in any event, if she's crazy, you got one or the other. She's either a murderer or she's crazy. And either case, you go away. That's just how it is. So
yeah.
But
well, I have a meme now. I'm going to just read it. So, liberal women, the hormones that hit after giving birth can turn us into killers, and there's nothing we can do about it. Also, the same liberal women, if women ran the planet, wars would disappear and we'd finally have world peace.
Good luck with that. They get see, I'm not gonna piss off all the women watching, but okay.
I say it so they get mad at me. Come at me. Come on.
I'm gonna have to do a Fauci at this point. I'm married, okay? So I would say I'm gonna have to take the fifth. I can't say anything that would incriminate me. Okay. So I'm gonna do a Fauci right here. I got to
totally
take the Fifth Amendment. I'm under advisement from lots of other guys. Take the fifth here. Take the fifth.
Oh, remember too, I said liberal women. So I didn't say all women. So I narrowed it down.
All right. So, speaking of liberal women, oh gosh.
Here we go.
Here we go.
See ya.
This is a featured presentation from the Fanfare Newsroom.
Point basketball game. Chicago staying in it. Natasha Cloud.
I had to pause it right there because I want you to see something as everybody is freaking out about this WNBA thing. Notice she's approaching Enos. He didn't run out to the court. She started mouthing off and heading towards him. Then somehow he got kicked out the stadium or the arena because he's wearing a shirt sticking up for women. But he had to, he got bounced because she decided she wanted to approach him. If she just kept running up and down the court and playing, then nothing would have happened. Oh, I got to go backwards. So you guys might not know. Some of you may not watch the WNBA, like most people don't watch the WNBA. But you understand there's these former NBA players who now have identified as women. And the women in the WNBA are pissed off because it seems to be making a mockery of their sport. Nonetheless, the mockery is because we're like 2 weeks into this, and they're still having meetings as to how to define a woman. I don't have the clip here, but you know what a woman is. Boys have wee-wees, girls have vaginas, but they can't do it. And so now it's become a national spectacle where all kinds of people are getting involved in it. And Enos Kanter went to an actual game.
And right before the break, this was the scene inside Wintrust Arena. After Natasha Cloud got that bucket, she wanted her voice heard. We have talked about the conversations surrounding the W. That is Enos Kanter in the building today. And he has voiced how he's felt about the situation. Natasha Cloud voicing her opinion as well. Kanter was just escorted.
So she approached him because she got pissed off, and because she didn't like what's going on, she took personal affrontation to the fact that these former NBA players have now identified as women, when all you got to do is just say what a woman is. All of this goes away instantly. All of it goes away if you just define what a woman is. I mean, can you imagine us being in, 2001, 1990, where anybody questioned what a woman is? And then when they do give an answer, you're going to love this one. Even when they do give an answer, it's like, what are you talking about? So there's this guy who works on ESPN, and he's gotten into a little bit of a back and forth with Clay Travis. And Clay Travis had said something and posted something where he said, let me go back in the history of this thing here. Pablo started first. Pablo said this: I think we can all agree that stepping out towards the baseline in the middle of a WNBA game, getting ejected on purpose, and immediately claiming to be a victim is insanely pathetic, which none of what he just said happened. He didn't step out. She came towards him. But the idiots who don't watch are going to jump all over and say, Pablo, you got it right. He's making a spectacle. So, of course, Clay Travis, who's into sports, he says this: hey, Pablo, what's a woman? Very simple question. Very simple question that 99.9% of people could answer without even having to think. Even people who, are crazy. Hey, what's a woman? What's a man? It's pretty simple. No, not for sports writers. Not for sports writers at all. So, you're going to love this answer. A category, I didn't know that we had categories, but a category where over 99% of the people in categories. He can't even say the frickin' word. A category where over 99% of the people were born with a vagina, and the other less than 1% are being used as bait to distract from the most financially corrupt regime in U.S. history. I don't know how it got into politics, but that's like a quick reflex that they had to have. But I just find it odd that a sports writer couldn't even use the word woman. A category where 99% plus of the people? What category? What's the category, Pablo? And so I had to chime my 2 cents into it. And it's like, wait, what? Not all women have vaginas? Are you one? It doesn't make any sense. And they are perpetuating this over and over. It's screwing up kids because they're watching grown adults lie to them. Every single little girl, I know what a boy is. And every single little boy, I know what a girl is. But for some reason, these grown-ass adults in the sport business still are not allowed to say the word woman. And the WNBA, they got a whole lot of problems because they cannot figure this out. It's just getting worse for them the longer they let it go. Now, so Enos, he had an interview. It's like, what really happened?
This is a featured presentation from the Fanfare Newsroom.
Enos, what happened tonight?
What happened tonight? Good question. So I was literally out there. I mean, I'm a huge fan of basketball, a huge fan of women's basketball, and I was there to watch the game, and I was really excited because I'm a huge fan of the Fevers. And so I was just literally just there to just watch the game. And then first half went amazing. I was having so much fun with my friends and stuff. And then it was towards the end of the third quarter. And Sophie Cunningham shot a 3. And I put my hands up to celebrate, right? Literally a couple positions later, Natasha came back and started screaming and yelling and said, she's not going to sleep with you. And I was like, I am not trying to sleep with her. I'm just here to protect women and support her. And then obviously after that, she started yapping and she started to walk towards me. And literally I just got up and then I was like, I'm just here to protect women. And that's...
You know, the thing about this is it's all on videotape. You can see every second of the incident. The WNBA is trying to say he did it when it's clear that one of their own women initiated this. She decided to walk at him when all she should do is walk to the sidelines and talk to who's ever running the teams, talk to the owners, talk to the commissioners. Can you go ahead and define this thing and stop this circus? Can we just say what a woman is? Because now you have amplified it once again. Maybe they need it for ratings. Maybe they need it for sell tickets, but it's not dying. I mean, this is the funniest thing. We keep thinking, hey, will it die down? I'm sure the league thought, well, just let it die down. We'll be okay. It's not dying down. This is such a visceral topic right now because it hits to every single person walking the planet. What's a woman? What is a woman? I cannot believe in 2026 we are trying to figure out what in the heck a woman is. Something that every single one of us absolutely knew as children. They're taking language away from us. They've tried to strike and tell us we can't say this and can't say that. Now we can't even determine what a woman is. Then why'd you put the W in your league name? Why didn't you just call it ONBA, Others NBA? Why did you decide when you were going to create this league that it was the WNBA? Now they're having second thoughts about it. It's the most insane thing, but it's indicative of our time. When a woman can kill 3 of her kids and we got people standing out there saying, oh no, she needs to go free. When somebody like Carmelo Anthony can stab somebody and then find out afterwards, he goes, I wanted to lick the blood off the knife, but people like, he needs to go free. When we have thousands and thousands and possibly millions of people who came across the border and we try to send them back and like we're ripping them out of the baby's arms. When we have this idiot in New York talking about giving free grocery stores that never are free and then using the same tax dollars to pay people who might be hurt from his free grocery stores. We have entered into complete Looney Tunes.
Right? And then she started to yell. She started to use some very heavy language. She started to actually cuss. And I was very shocked that there were a lot of kids and there were a lot of teenagers was at that game. And I just cannot believe that she was just cussing and using those F-bombs in front of all these kids. And that is not, I mean, I'm sure like she's loved in Chicago and many kids and idolizing her and stuff, but that's not an WNBA athlete should react, you know? And then anyway, and then after that, the security guy, came, and then I was like, listen, you need to leave. I was like, can you please tell me why do I need to leave? They said, look, you just need to leave. And then they literally, I don't want to say they dragged me, but like they pretty much like pushed me to leave the gym. And then after that, I had a conversation with the police officers, which I respect a lot. I was like, listen, I was just there to protect women.
It's becoming absolutely nuts. Look, and I think President Trump's camera just came up, but before we get to him at 2:30, which I don't know, by the way, what he's talking about. That's the other thing. He's having an event in the Rose Garden, and we shall see shortly what that's about. But let's continue and finish off this story. By the way, there's probably some of you like, what's the big deal here? Why is this important? Well, something's coming in November. And if you don't stand up for yourselves now and stop letting the demoralization campaign, as President Trump, the demoralization operation, if you don't stand up and fight this, they're just going to come up with more rules again and define for you what a woman is. It's a concentrated effort at this point to make sure that they can strip away as much of America as possible. And now they're actually at a fundamental issue that we all have to protect. It doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man.
This league, especially when I think about young girls who are out there watching, nobody's talking about the basketball. Nobody.
No.
We're all talking about the protests. We're talking about the political fights. We're talking about who wore what T-shirts. And if you're a little girl or you're the parent of a little girl who's encouraging your child to go out, you can grow up and become a professional basketball player. Would she look at this and go, why? Because if I say I don't want to compete against boys, people are going to treat me like I hate people.
Right.
And one of the protesters, just one more thing, was saying trans lives matter. That is not what this is about. This is not it, but they're trying to make it about this. And it's so blatantly obvious to so many of us, but not to them.
You know how I felt? When I saw NS doing that, I was like, that's awesome. I'm like, I love that he's sticking up for us. And then I thought to myself, I just wish the women in the league would. I wish the commish and all the other just stand up for us too, please.
Yeah, and that's a great point that she just made. The point that why aren't women, as SB made me take that poll, how can we trust liberal women to do what's right when they won't even stand up for themselves? Imagine that. As of right now, I doubt there are many liberal women who have come out and said, this is insanity. I'm a woman. I just happen to be liberal. I may even be gay. I may be bi, but I'm still a woman. They're trying to strip away the very essence of who these people are, of who you are as a woman. They're trying to make it like it's insignificant. Anybody can become a woman. That would piss me off. That would piss me off if I was a woman, that somebody says, it's easy being you. No. Oops, wrong button. And wrong button again. Hold on. Get used to this.
I mean, it's becoming professional wrestling, isn't it? Right? I mean, they got us all paying attention for the wrong reasons, and you have to wonder a little bit how much of this was performative. But that said, look, we're in a strange time where the cultural wars of America are being fought in the arena of T-shirts at WNBA games. And that's kind of where we are, because he was wearing a T-shirt saying something about the definition of a woman. So what I would opine is, because you've lost the argument.
All right, so I didn't have time to write up a poll, but I'd love to talk to the ladies. Let's get a little feminine here. How many women would be offended to see a shirt that says XXXY or a shirt that says woman. I remember Helen Reddy. Man, I'm dating myself now. When Helen Reddy made the song, I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar, and now there's no more roaring. Women don't want to be women? Well, I know my wife does. I know most conservative ladies would say, no, I am a woman. But now Helen Reddy's song has been turned down to a meow. No, I can't hear me roar. I can't be seen as someone who wants to be a woman. It's not about trans. It's about defining the essence of who people are.
When you default to the most amorphous platitudes, choose love. Oh, God, I guess we're all wrong. Yeah, let men play. Wow, you won that one, all right? And you see that, coexist. I'm convinced now. I saw it on a bumper sticker. So, look, here's what we should all do. If you go into a WNBA game and you'd like to see women play the game, just wear a T-shirt that says this: 2 + 2 = 4. The message is there. It's the same as there being a difference between men and women. And then see if they throw you out, because they can't do that. And the first time 5,000 people show up at a game and it says 2 + 2 = 4, the argument will be over.
Nice. By the way,
I don't know about that. I don't know if you could get people to agree to that. I think you should walk in with a shirt saying, I am a woman. Very simple message. Shouldn't get you thrown out of anywhere. Not at all. I am a woman, and stand true to that. So this event in the Rose Garden, which President Trump is getting ready to host here, I'm not really sure what it is. I see kids in school uniforms. So yeah, I'm gonna put it up here, but as you can see, I don't know what music that is, but it seems to be a woman's event. Could be kind of crazy, but we'll see what it is.
I sent you a synopsis, Barry.
What is it? SB?
Oh, yeah, I sent to you a text. Trump will focus on school choice, educational freedom. That's what we'll focus on. Framed as a back-to-school celebration. It's going to have Education Secretary Linda McMahon there, so that's what they're going to focus on.
You know, it's funny. My next piece after this was about Miss McMahon. So it all flew together perfectly here.
Like water.
It looks like they're getting ready. I see the school kids in their uniform. Are they singing? Wait a second. Oh yeah, hold on. Let's take this in. Where are the kids at? Where are the kids?
Under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That was very cool. I missed it a little bit, but they did the Pledge of Allegiance. And oh my goodness, some of them were black. I don't know if you saw that. Oh gosh.
Is that racist?
It's racist. They're all going to do so. We have a full Rose Garden waiting for the president to come on out. I saw one of your stories here.
Yeah, Trump just put something on True Social about good old, you remember Doug Ford being the tough guy?
I saw him pouring out some Jack Daniels or something, didn't he? Here, let's see. You could probably grab this before he walks out.
All right, just cut me off if he gets on. President Trump obliterates insufferable Ontario, Canada Premier Doug Ford for playing tough guy and trying to screw America. Someone should get these clowns to fall in line, or the consequences for Canada will be far worse. Governor Carney and his flunky Ford, they will not be allowed to keep taking advantage of the United States. They're key to survival. America has been carrying Canada for decades, but no longer. Lots of bluster from Doug Ford, who is the premier of the Canadian province of Ontario, but who is better known as the less charismatic, intelligent, and overall overall unimpressive brother of the late, great Rob Ford. Canada's unemployment rate is now at 10% and rapidly rising. Their businesses are fleeing to the United States, and it's all because of their failed policies and inept leadership.
Wait a second. What are you reading? I got I have his actual post up, but it seems like you're into something else.
I'm reading Eric Doherty. I thought you were looking at that.
Look
sorry.
Here's the actual post right there. So you can take it from there, because it says it's up here where it says is better known as the less charismatic.
Let's see. Yes. I'm trying to see Where are we down here at the bottom?
No, you're up top. Okay, hold on. I'll start it. The USA will always be bigger, richer, and stronger than Canada. Without the United States, Canada couldn't survive. It's where they get all their money, and because of their current bad leadership, primarily Governor Carney and his Governor. Wait, he called him Governor Carney.
I'm like, he's such a troll.
Oh God! I read right past it. I was like, "Hey, Governor!" I'm like, "Oh man! Oh, yeah! Oh, he just completely
Governor Carney.
He clipped him, and his flunky Ford. Oh yeah, see, forget Eric Doherty. The real post here is even much better. Oh, they will not be allowed to keep taking advantage of the United States. They're key to survival. Remember, much of the electricity, oil, and gas that Canada gets is transported through the USA. Someone should get these clowns to fall in line, or the consequences for Canada will be far worse. Canada's unemployment, as you said, is now 10% and rapidly rising. Their businesses are fleeing for the United States, and it's all because of their failed policies and inept leadership. The days of ripping off our farmers and other businesses are over. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Now I know why my friends aren't coming down to visit me anytime soon. They actually.
You get the feeling reading some of his stuff that he has not one F left to give. I mean,
0.0.
Oh God!
Wow.
And I don't know who writes this stuff, but I'm sure they must say, is this okay, boss? No. He's a governor. That's my state. All right. No, let's not give him any props whatsoever. Oh gosh.
I have one problem with this though. Not the actual tariffs. They're not supposed to start until January 1st. Why is he waiting so long? I mean, I know he likes to give some time for them to negotiate, but that's too long. I'd give him like 30 days.
He may change. I mean, if he's fired the warning shot at this point, and the ball's in their court, and oh wait, here he comes.
All right, perfect.
He's only like 7 minutes late. So, here we go. Yep, he's walking out.
Thank you very much. What a nice setting this is. This is something we spent a lot of time and effort bringing the White House back to a level that it should be at. For essentially 200 years, no work was done on it. It lived on its own merit, but we thought it was proper. If you look at the exterior, you'll see it's all been redone and in perfect shape. It's good for another 200 years, okay? That's the way I look at it. But very important. It's such a symbol, such a representative symbol of us, of what we stand for, and we're very proud to have done it. We're building outside. We're building a beautiful heliport, which has been asked for many, many years. A helicopter would land on wet grass, and it was bad and dangerous. And as you know, over there, we're building a military complex and a ballroom that will be second to none anywhere in the world. We have President Xi coming in 2 weeks, and I was over in China 2 months ago, and we saw the Great Hall of China. Well, now we're going to have a Great Hall, too, in the United States, so it's very important, very, very important. And I want to thank you all and welcome you to the White House as we celebrate back-to-school season in America. It's a big deal. We're delighted to be joined by many incredible parents, devoted teachers, exceptional educators, and star students from all across the nation. In fact, we have so many star students, I want to make offers to some of you to come and join us as soon as you get out of college, because we want stars. We want smart people. We like smart people. Some people say, oh, that's not nice to say. No, we want smart people. I want to thank our great Secretary of Education, a fantastic woman, by the way, my friend and all of that, but she's a fantastic woman. Nobody like her. Linda McMahon, Nebraska Governor Jim Pillen. Jim, thank you very much. Thank you. Look good. Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Chairman of the House Education Committee, Tim Walberg. Thank you very much, Tim. Good job. and our press secretary, a mother of two, and well, she decided she loved her children more than she loved Donald Trump. I'm very upset about this. She has to go home and spend time with her children. That does happen on occasion with some people when they love their children, and she does. And Caroline, congratulations on your newborn, your perfect newborn. And she's done a fantastic job. She's been a great, great press secretary. Now, if I say you're the best of all time, I have Sarah sitting here, so I'll have, but let's put it this way, they were both great, okay? Is that all right? But from the very beginning of our country, Americans have understood that there's no job more important than teaching our children to become happy, healthy, proud, productive, and flourishing citizens. And unfortunately, in the 4 years I took office, and since I took office, our educational system itself was really, I mean, it was incredibly, before I got here, it was weaponized like everything else in our government. Everything was weaponized against the goals that we all stand for. And under the last administration, extreme ideologies such as critical race theory and transgender insanity were forced upon our children as young as 4 and 5 years old. Transgender didn't work. Students were taught that our heroes are villains. The FBI was used to target patriotic parents at school board meetings. And meanwhile, far too many government-run schools failed at the basics. And you just have to look at the charts. They were failing at a thing called education, with only 30% of in reading and math. That was under the last administration. Under the Trump administration, we're systematically ending every single one of these radical left betrayals, and we're putting the parents back in charge. They're the ones that love our children. They're the ones that should be in charge. So immediately upon taking office, I signed an executive order to ban critical race theory and to ban transgender ideology from public schools. That was a big deal. We banned men from playing in women's sports. That was so easy to do. I don't get it. They're still arguing. They're still fighting. I saw a Democrat congressman the other day fighting an anchor that was, I would say, somewhere in the middle, but fighting an anchor on men playing in women's sports. And I said, I hope they keep doing that, because it's got to be impossible to win a race politically. Just crazy. I've never seen anything like it, but it continues out there, although we've had big court victories, as you know, and we've largely stopped it. Every public school in America is now on notice that if they tell a child that they're trapped in the wrong body, they are committing child abuse. And as we remove the far-left extremism from the classroom, we're taking historic action to ensure that every child in America has access to a first-class education. The United States spends more money on education than any other country in the world by double, and our results should be better than they are. I would look at lists where we're rated out of the 40 top nations, we're rated number 38, 39, and number 40 with all the money we spent. But Linda has changed that so rapidly and so drastically, and frankly, it's shocking how fast it's gone under her leadership. 1 year ago, as part of the great big beautiful bill, we passed the Education Freedom Tax Credit, the largest ever expansion of school choice, and we want, thank you. And we want every parent to have the power to send their child to a high-quality school that shares their values. It's so important. With us today are Caleb and Jocelyn Griffith and their beautiful family from Statesville, North Carolina, great place. They've 3 biological sons and 2 foster children. School choice and education freedom scholarships are going to give these kids more opportunity than ever before. And I'd like to ask Caleb and Jocelyn to come up and say a few words, please. How are you? Nice to see you. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, thank you for the honor of speaking today. I'm Pastor Caleb Griffith, and I'm joined by my 5 beautiful children. As President Trump said, 2 of them came to us through foster care, which is wonderful. But my children, one of them has autism, and one has developmental delays. And although they qualify for an IEP, because of the situation, they were unable to get them. So we've been unable to access the support and help they need to be successful. And we're blessed to be from a state that offers school choice, and it has helped part of our children's educational needs. I personally have seen the benefit of the Opportunity Scholarship for my family and the school my children attend, Cornerstone Christian Academy, who is up for running for the Yaz Prize. But it's thanks to great organizations like Parents for Educational Freedom, who have helped 105,000 families just like mine access the Opportunity Scholarship. And now, because of you, Mr. President, and because of you, Secretary McMahon, the Educational Freedom tax credits will give my children the access to the services they need to be successful in the most formational years of their lives. I want to tell you, we only get one chance to educate our children, and our children are the future of America. The Bible says to train up a child in the way that they should go, and that's to parents, and this allows parents to do that. So on behalf of my family and every family in America that will access this, thank you, President Trump, and God bless America.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. What a great job. Beautiful, beautiful family. Whoop. He made it. Well, as many of you know, no one cares more about America's children and foster youth than our great First Lady. She works hard at it and loves the children. Through her Fostering the Future initiative, Melania is helping transform the lives of children and young people aging out of the foster care system. And she's bringing hope and countless, and you have to see so many people, so many phone calls, so much work, but really bringing hope to countless numbers of families and children, and it's really something to see. It's so difficult. They go through foster care, and then all of a sudden they're released into the world. And, you know, many people have something to fall back on, but they don't. They can't go back to their parents for a little help or for staying overnight or for staying for years in some cases. And it's a very, very tough. So I want to thank Melania. She takes it so seriously. She's done such a great job. It's been so effective. Thank you. And as part of the great, big, beautiful bill, we have massively expanded 529 education saving accounts tremendously, doubling the annual withdrawal cap from K-12 expenses to $20,000 a year, and allowing families to save the education and money for education at the private or religious school of your choice. So that's something that never happened before. Nobody could even think about doing it. They can't believe it's happened now. And it's largely Linda and her representatives that have done this. And now, for the first time ever, families can also have their 529 accounts to support homeschool education. And then, thank you. And then one of the biggest things of all is what's happened with the Trump accounts, where kids will have money. I mean, every child is given at birth, newborn, $1,000. And you're going to watch that money grow. People like Michael and Susan Dell have put up a tremendous amount of money, over $6 billion. But we have many people. Some people have taken on an entire state, like the state of Indiana, by a very, very fantastic friend of mine, Brad. Thank you very much. And some very wealthy people and very wealthy companies are putting up tremendous amounts of money. The Trump accounts is being talked about all over the world. It's very good and very hot. Joining us today, Marina and Hubert from Jacksonville, Florida. They've been homeschooling their 3 children for 11 years and will benefit enormously from the new policy. The amount of money they're getting is something that they can very much use, and it's something that wouldn't have happened without the Trump administration. So Marina and Hubert, please come up and say a few words.
Mr. President, thank you so much for this opportunity to be here. I have with me my beautiful family, my wife, Marina. We homeschool our 3 kids. We've been homeschooling for the last decade. My oldest son is going into 9th grade, my daughter going into 6th, and my youngest son is going into 3rd grade. Homeschooling is something that is very personal to me. Back in 1988, my parents made the decision to homeschool me. And so I was homeschooled from kindergarten all the way through the 12th grade. And I've been blessed with the opportunity to do the same for my family. Back in 1988, homeschooling wasn't popular. And there was not, I don't think, a president who was supporting us. At this time, to see your administration and all that you've done for homeschooling families not only means the world to me, but to also all the other homeschooling families that are out there. With the great big beautiful bill, the expansion of 529, oftentimes with homeschooling or one income households, because I'm working and my wife is schooling the kids. So being able to have the extra resources to provide them with their needs, and also the option to support our children in the way that we see fit means the world. So I just want to thank you for everything that you've done.
Great parents. You have great parents.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That's beautiful, beautiful family. Thank you. Well, I'm very proud to say that the Trump administration's achieved more for the benefit of Americans' children in less than 2 years than most administrations do in many years. 8 years, or frankly, you can take 2 or 3 administrations, put them together. They haven't been able to do what we did. After decades of racist policies and illegal quotas, we brought back the merit system into education. We're back on the merit system, which is what made our country great in the first place, so that our children will always be judged by the achievements and qualifications, not by the color of their skin or any other reason. We issued a guidance for protecting the right to prayer, and we now protect prayer in the public schools. They're totally protected. And last year I signed a historic executive order to begin the process of eliminating the Federal Department of Education, getting them out of Washington and bringing education back to the states, the most important thing. And working with me on the Council on Physical Fitness, we've proudly brought back a wonderful tradition, the Presidential Fitness Test. I signed the Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act, which people loved, and the farmers love it because they know how good it is more than anybody. But the Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act, they weren't allowed to have whole milk, if you can believe it. They could have anything else, but they couldn't have great milk the way it is supposed to be, paving the way for more than 30 million children who drink whole milk in school. And we introduced the Real Food Pyramid and reformed the vaccine recommendations to protect America's youth. We're making America healthy again. We're strongly requesting, even telling people when you get your shots for your young child, and this has to do, we think, with preventing autism, that you go to the doctor for 5 small shots instead of 1 big, massive shot. You do it in 5 different shots. 5 different shots. Small, little shots where those beautiful little bodies can handle it. And I think you're going to see a very big difference in the rate of autism, which is like an epidemic, what's happened with autism. And this year, as we celebrate the 250th anniversary of America's founding, we're also bringing back patriotic education for our youth through the Freedom 250 Mobile Museum. Students from over 3,750 schools are learning about the heroes who have made America the most exceptional nation in history, and we're teaching our children to love America, not to hate America. There's a lot of love going on right now. Our country's never done this well. We have billions and billions of different things happening, money pouring in at the rate of not even billions, trillions, over $19 trillion being invested in America right now. The last administration had less than $1 trillion in 4 years. We had 19, more than 19, 19.2 to be exact, and that's over a period of 12 months. We haven't even included the additional 5 months. So there's never been anything like that in history. No other country in the world has ever had investment like we're having right now being made, which is building factories, car plants, everything, all over, AI, all over the country at levels that nobody's ever seen before. No other country has ever seen what's happened. It's a revolution, a positive revolution. So in everything we do, we're empowering our nation's parents, we're restoring high standards and the pursuit of excellence, and we're proving that the golden age of America education is just beginning. And I want to thank you all for being here. You're incredible people. I know so many of you in the audience, but one in particular who's just an outstanding person, an incredible woman, Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon. Please come up, Linda. Thank you.
We get it down to my speed, which is always the case when I come up to the microphone. We have to adjust it. Thank you, Mr. President, for assembling this incredible event this afternoon, because nothing is more important in our country than educating our students. Parents, educators, and students, happy back to school season. This school year marks a return to common sense in American education, and it's all thanks to the leadership of our president, President Trump. I remember when President Trump called me shortly after the Biden's administration 2024 Nations Report Card, or NAEP, as you've heard, scores were released, and he told me he was angry and he was also embarrassed by where these scores were. We spoke about what a travesty it is that Americans have invested $3 trillion in a federal Department of Education meant to improve student outcomes, and yet only 30% of our students can read or do math proficiently. This is why President Trump demanded a hard reset to our education system. And under his leadership, we are delivering it. We are taking very deliberate and thoughtful steps to return education to the states. This school year, American parents and students have so much to be excited about because the Trump administration is steering education back to its rightful focus, serving students, so that they are prepared for successful futures. Our administration has cut billions in funding for radical DEI programs and redirected those dollars to teachers, classrooms, and results, supporting evidence-based literacy instruction, pouring record funding into charter schools, and energizing workforce training. Key decisions that once sat with bureaucrats here in Washington, D.C. are moving to where they belong, to the hands of educators, parents, and local leaders who know these children best. 6 states now hold the first ever returning education to the state waivers, freeing over $100 million from federal micromanagement. These waivers allow state leaders to direct federal dollars towards what makes the most sense for their students and not what Washington thinks is best for those students. Additionally, a record 25 states are exercising EdFlex authority, which allows them to immediately free thousands of local school districts from mountains of red tape without first having to receive approval from the Department of Education. And under President Trump's leadership, we are restoring parents' sacred role as the first decision makers in their children's lives. Children belong to their parents, not the federal government. And through the Education Freedom Tax Credit, President Trump has delivered the largest national expansion of education freedom in history for over 50 million eligible children, giving parents unprecedented freedom to choose the path that is best for their child. So it's no surprise that over half of our nation's states, both red and blue, have raced to this historic choice option, benefiting families whether their child attends public or private school. Parents can also rest assured that wherever their child goes to school, this administration is vigorously protecting their right to know what's happening inside those walls. After the Biden administration allowed schools to secretly transition students without parents' knowledge, President Trump is defending parental rights like never before. And at his direction, we are working hand in hand with the Department of Justice to ensure no school district ever has more power over a child than their own parents. Thank you. We've exposed states like California for some of the most widespread offenses and put schools on notice. If they subject children to radical experiments and sideline parents, they will lose their federal funding. Never before have parental rights been enforced at this scale, and parents are back in the driver's seats where they rightfully belong. Across every facet of education, these reforms are truly driving the progress that many promised, but only President Trump has delivered. We are breaking the grip of the education monopoly in D.C. and putting the future of our children back into the hands of those who know them, love them, and are best positioned to help them reach their God-given potential. We will remember this as a turning point in our country, where thanks to President Trump's leadership, American education began to reclaim its place as the very best in the world. Thank you all, and have a great and wonderful school year.
Great job, honey.
Thank you, sir. Nice to see you. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Now, I don't know if anybody wants to do this, but I'm going to be walking down here in about 2 minutes to meet with the people that are building the heliport. And you'll see right alongside of it the great structure that's rising right next to the White House, and that's going to be the ballroom/military complex. It's incredible. Now, if anybody would like to walk with me, I don't know if Linda's going to have any big events happening now. I don't think so. But if you'd like to follow me, especially with the kids could see construction. I love the sound of construction. When I hear all that banging out there, some people say, oh, that's too bad. And I say, I love it. You know, so if anybody would like to follow me, it'll be a large group, but it's a large pad, and you'll be able to see some very hard-working people. They're working hard, and they're making a lot of money, and they're doing something great for America. And they've needed a heliport for many years here, and we're getting it all done. We're doing all the things that should have been done for years. So if you want to follow me with the children, I think it'll be very interesting. You'll bring your nice family, okay? Follow me. We'll come up here, and we'll walk down. Good. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Anybody want to go see a job site? Like, come on. I'm going to go look at some, because you know he wakes up in the morning, he pulls open the curtain if he's near it, and he looks at that job site and goes, okay, what are we doing today? And he just can't wait to get out there. So now he's invited all these kids and their families to come out to, go look at some construction, stuff that really matters, not the craziness. But I loved what he just did there. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well, because this is back to school time right now, and he's expanding school choice, which is going to cause their heads to explode once again. It seems like every day, it's only Monday. It's Monday at 3 o'clock, and President Trump is lighting them up all over again with his school choice initiative. And so here he is heading over to the construction site in a hurry. He loves the construction. Look at everybody's following behind him. I have no idea how long they'll keep the camera live. Fox turned it off a long time ago, but they're all going. They're all going to go see a construction site and what's going on at the military complex / ballroom and at the helipad. By the way, if you looked at that helipad looks like it could land some pretty big helicopters, wink, wink, in addition to everything else. So I wouldn't expect the camera it's going to have to move in and out so it can catch people as they're walking. But I'll leave it on before I go to the next segment to see if he, how many people are walking around out there, or if they cut it. I'm thinking they're probably going to have to cut it, because obviously this is a fixed camera. It doesn't look like it's on a handheld, so it's probably sitting there on a tripod, and then they could turn it left or right, but they couldn't, you'll know if he picks it up. It'll get all cockeyed and everything else. But right now, it seems like it's fixated in one spot. So we're not going to be able to see him walking around with all the family and the kids. But I love the fact that he brought these kids out there today on economic D-Day for Iran. And yep, they cut it and showed everybody what they actually meant, what was going to happen. So because I'm stretched, they did bring up another feed. Let me bring that back up. Nope, just went off again. Because I'm stretched tight for time, I had no idea what this event was about. SV just texted me right before he went out there to let me know that this was about school choice, which is interesting because I had a piece already, ready to go about this schooling and education. So I'm going to show that to you right now. They're telling me at this point, well, they're telling everybody who gets this feed, that further live coverage is expected. Usually it would go to an event has ended. So that means that they may show him walking around. So I will cut to it as soon as that comes back up. But the timing of everything, the piece I'm getting ready to show you now makes sense. Yesterday, Linda McMahon, she went, what do we got here? Linda McMahon went on CNN, what show? State of the Union with Dana Bash. And I'm wondering, why would she go on State of the Union and be attacked by Dana Bash? So let's get into this, and if he comes back up, I will definitely bounce over.
This is a featured presentation from the Fanfare Newsroom.
Millions of students are heading back to school, and there are a lot of things on parents' minds. One of them is sticker shock. One analysis found that the cost of school supplies rose nearly 8% since last year, averaging nearly $175 per child, and the average cost of packing a school lunch is up more than 10% compared to last year. What do you say to parents who are struggling not just with how to manage schooling, but also the economic strains of it?
Did you ask Biden that question? I'm pretty sure she didn't ask Joe Biden, what are you going to do? Because people are paying so much more. I remember they came out during the barbecue last year and said, hot dogs are 17 cents less. You remember all that? But now she wants to approach her with, you're going to pay for someone else's kids because it's 8% higher. I mean, they had to reach for that stat. And this is 10% higher. Oh, you had to reach for that one, a whole 10%, huh?
Well, I think if you look at what's going on throughout the country, really, there are some price upticks, I think, but the general economy is so strong and doing so well, and I think as students are headed back to school, our parents should have a lot to look forward to this year. I mean, some of the work that we've been doing over the past year to make sure that parents are more in charge of the education that is going on in their states with their children, to have more access to school records. They know that we've been working very hard to make sure that children are safer in school relative to, and this stat will probably blow your mind, it did mine. 1 in 10 children, statistics show 1 in 10 children before they finish high school will be sexually molested in school.
Dana Bash wasn't ready for that stat. I love how she turned that around real quick. Oh, yeah, you want to talk about some finances. How about the fact that kids are being abused in school, Dana? Because that's probably a little bit more important. Kids' safety, making sure kids aren't being touched and things done to them in school. You want to go over that a little bit, Dana?
So one of the things that we have really focused and really driving on is looking at what is going on in schools. There were California schools that actually were reported events of this. We've been investigating it.
Where did that stat come from? Did you do a study?
Yes, we did.
Why didn't she ask you that about your numbers? Hey, where'd that 8% and 10% come from? Did you do a study? Is it for all 50 states, or is California and with Minnesota? What states are 8% higher, Dana? But when she gives you a stat, you turn around and go, I want the source. Yeah, typical liberal.
We did a study, and it came from the general education statistics that were afforded to us. And so when we looked at that, and we really looked at those stats coming out of California, so we said, what is really going on here in these schools? And what happens is the teachers don't get, or sometimes it's faculty and sometimes the staff that's working in the schools. And instead of firing those teachers just get sent to another school. And it's not part of their record or anything. So we have really been cracking down on that as well.
Yeah, and just as you know, parents are struggling with the economy. I know they
She completely ignored it. Yeah, people are struggling with the economy. You don't even want to address what she just said? Did she just talk into a vacuum? Did nobody hear what she just said about kids being abused at school? Nope, nobody? Right back to, people are struggling. Well, how about the kids that are struggling to stay safe? Don't even want to bring that up. It's fact because you said, a lot of it came from California. Nope, don't want to talk about that. I'm not prepared to even discuss that. Let's go back to the economy.
Economic indicators are better, but the affordability crisis is real. I want to talk about AI in the classroom. You issued guidance last week saying schools should evaluate AI tools based on evidence of effectiveness and learning outcomes. The tools haven't been around very long, so there are no real studies, certainly not long-term comprehensive studies. It's not possible since AI is so new. And yet Google, for example, expanded its use of AI, Gemini, in classrooms. OpenAI just introduced ChatGPT Teens. Are you concerned that students are effectively becoming sort of guinea pigs for chatbots?
No, what I'm concerned, can I take this one, Linda? Do you mind? What I'm concerned about is all these kids that can't read and they're being pushed through graduation. I'm concerned about kids can't add, they can't do multiplication, and they're being given diplomas. I'm concerned that the University of Michigan isn't publishing grades anymore because the kids fail so much and they don't want their pee-pees hurt. That's what I'm concerned about as Department of Education. That's what I want to know is why can these kids not read? Why can they not add? Why can't they do 2 times 2? Why can't they do simple multiplication? We've had teachers crying. I've showed you videos because they can't fill in the dots on a sentence. And you're worried about AI? Let me tell you a personal story about AI. And it happened last night. And I called Robin because I was here at the office. And I went, Robin, I know you're already right with God. We need to get righter. And she started laughing. She's like, what happened? And I said, earlier in the day, I told her, because I was here all day working on something, and there was a problem, and it was really getting to me. And what it was is we started doing the Bible giveaways last year in one database, and the shipping is in a different database, and those 2 databases don't talk to each other. And I was concerned if I pulled Bibles yet to be shipped, there would be a conflict. And she's just talking, well, you'll figure it out. Hey, use AI if you want to. You're really good with AI, blah, blah. And we started talking about dinner. And I sat here, and I went, okay. I want you to take database A and merge it with database B, and I want you to take the names in database A that haven't received their Bibles and extract it from this list. So if you've ever done anything like that with Excel, just figure out how long that would take you. If you had to give it to an assistant or something that you're paying somebody for, ask them how long it would take them to do all this. I called Robin back. I'm like, it took 7 minutes, honey. I'm sitting here watching it on the screen, and it's like, boom, here you go. And I'm like, no way. No way. I just did a 7-minute task of merging databases, excluding the different variables between, make sure there were no duplicates, make sure nobody had already been shipped, and I have a brand new list. And she's like, great, 7 minutes. Don't worry about the AI. Worry about the people who don't know what to ask. You see, in order to even happen what I did yesterday, you have to know how to formulate the entire situation. You have to be able to talk to the AI like you're talking to a human. You can't say, just give me the answer. You got to be able to use the prompt, which prompts are becoming obsolete at this point. You got to talk. And here's what I want. What's your problem? I got this and this and this. Okay, here's what you got to do. And bam, in 7 minutes, did it just not spit out a completely new, brand new spreadsheet where I can load into the shipping program. But it told me, if you want me, I can do that too. I can upload it. And I'm like, get out of here. So you can upload it too? Yeah, I can upload it. And I can also print all the I'm like, get out of here. So I can, who's getting fired? Who do I not need anymore?
I do think that what we have to make sure we're looking at is how much screen time students have in school, but what what is that screen time? We want to make sure that there is effectiveness for students. And I've had the privilege of going down to Austin, Texas, to the Alpha School, and seeing how AI is really working in that particular school. The first couple of hours every day, students really have on headphones. They're in front of their computers. They're getting their subjects fed to them, with all teachers monitoring what they're doing. And the beauty of that is that a student almost has a one-on-one tutor.
I wanted to show you as she was talking. It's really interesting. Let me just rewind just a little bit. There it is. I wanted to look at that. So you see Dana got ready for this interview, and as she got ready for this interview, she has a whole bunch of papers in front of her, which may be articles or studies or whoever's talking to her in her ear. I can guarantee you that at some point somebody said, get this stuff, print it out, make sure that Dana has it, which I don't understand why you need all that paper unless it's for show. You should be able to take all that information that you have and have it ready on a screen someplace. But does she not know how to use AI?
And the beauty of that is that a student almost has a one-on-one tutor. So the teacher can monitor to see if a child is a bit behind and repeat information for them. If a child is really excelling, then their programs get sped up a bit. So it's a great tool, to have in this particular school. And I think that's what we have to look at with AI, is who's going to get it, how long are students going to be exposed to it, what is the outcome? And you're right, there aren't a lot of metrics available now, and I think that's what we really have to look at, is these ed tech companies are introducing these new products to see what is the effectiveness. Are we seeing better outcomes in schools? And if we're not, then they should be pulled out. But I have seen it work so well in the introductions that I've seen. So it's AI with guardrails, and as we introduce it, I think slowly in schools, it can be a very effective tool used properly.
Do you think that what you saw down in Austin, what you just described, is a proper model?
It's working wonderfully, and they've been doing it now for a few years. And then I talked to some of the students who were there after this 2-hour block, and then the rest of the day is spent in the application of what they're learning. And so it's incredibly effective for this school, for these students. And I'm not saying that works everywhere, but I think that's what we have to look at.
And that's going to be one of my questions, which is, do you believe parents should be able to opt out of using AI as a...
Why would any parent opt out of using AI? Why would any parent not want their child to learn at the most advanced level possible? There's only one reason I could think of that any parent would want to opt out of that. Because the teachers union or somebody said, we're going to lose our jobs. This thing can teach kids much better than we can. I bet you're going to find some studies that come out very, very soon that say that teaching with AI is light years ahead of utilizing some teacher who doesn't know how to use AI. You can't, it would be like the blind leading the blind. If the teacher isn't well versed on it, then the kid's not, there's nowhere for the kid to learn. It's funny, Christina, welcome back, Christina, and congratulations. She had posted this. I can write 2 hours of code in about 5 minutes. And obviously, Christina is out of high school. She's out of grammar school, but she has taught herself at this point that she can write 2 hours of code in 5 minutes. A teacher can't do that. The teacher should be able to say, hey, listen, here's what we're going to do. We want you to use AI, understand the prompt you have to use to arrive at a problem, but you still need the basics, because if you can't write, you can't prompt. That's pretty simple.
Teaching tool if they so choose?
I certainly think that parents should be very much involved in their children's education. If they're going and they're involved and they are looking to see what is happening with their child, I think it's up to the school to be able to show, okay, this is what we hope to accomplish. This is how we believe this is going to be helpful to your child in particular, and let us show you the outcome. And if the parent is not seeing that outcome, the parent has every right to go in and say, no, I want something different for my child.
And how are you not concerned at all about the benefits of having the individual sort of tutorial, if you will, via AI being outweighed by the human interaction that every student, every person gets?
What are you talking about? These kids can't read. They're getting into malls and having wilding episodes. They're doing these teen takeovers. Why the hell would the AI be a problem? If you can't read and you can't write and you can't do math, then the individual instruction isn't working. There's an entire town in Maryland. There are swaths of school systems where people can't read at their grade level. Never mind doing numbers and arithmetic, they can't do anything. And so I'm struggling. Maybe you guys can tell me, what the hell is Dana Bash talking about? Well, to me, it only sounds like she's protecting teachers. She understands, and I don't have a problem with it, but she understands a lot of teachers are probably going to lose their jobs. A lot of teachers are going to be, I don't know, talking into the abyss. There's no way kids could be failing at reading, writing, and doing math if the teachers were proficient. And now instantly, I mean literally instantly, kids can become much more proficient. And if they become more proficient without the need of a teacher, then there's going to be a whole lot of teachers out of work. So is that what Dana is doing? I don't know. Maybe you guys in the chat can tell me. Why is she so worried about this?
From a teacher, even if they're just monitoring there, it's not the same as actually learning from a human being. Is that something that you're thinking about as you continue to go around the country and think about these massive changes in policy?
Sure.
What? I don't care whether my son, my daughter, my stepchild, I don't care if they're learning from a human being or if they're learning from AI. Hopefully there's some sort of mesh where you get the best of both worlds. And if you're doing homeschooling, even better. So I'm struggling to understand where she's going with this. And I want you to put yourself in a position of start young. You have a 7-year-old kid at home. Maybe you have a 7 or 8-year-old grandchild at home. And what do you expect the teachers in school to be giving to that child? And then measure that with what they're actually getting. Ashley used to be a teacher. She's told me the horror stories. They don't know anything, and they're not getting any support at home. It's like, hey, listen, go to school. They'll feed you. They're going to eat you. They're going to, feed you and clothe you and everything else. And when you get home, I don't have anything to do, except that's when the teaching should start, when the kid gets home from school. So I'm not sure what her trepidation is here.
And just let me, reemphasize that the Department of Education doesn't control curriculum in the classroom. But what I have seen and what I really want to be able to talk to educators about when I am touring, and I've been to 40 states now, I think that human interaction is incredibly important. So the use of AI is a balance. It is no different than any other new tool that's introduced in the classroom. It's how effective are the teachers being able to interact with the students and work with them. Nothing should replace that one-on-one with teacher interaction with students because they need that. Students need to be able to communicate with each other. And they need to have that interaction. They need to get out on the playground. They need to be doing all of these things that are part of their education. I think we got away from it.
One of the trends that is happening really globally is limiting, as you mentioned, screen time, and even in some places totally banning phones from school. First of all, do you think that's a good idea?
Okay, so this is a controversial topic in terms of banning things so that kids can't get access, banning books, banning phones, banning things. From the government's perspective, I have a problem with that. And here's why. If you're making kids learn at an early age, they have to be compliant, then they'll never question things. You can't do that. Why? We said you can't do it. Instead, again, here we go. I don't need a government entity banning something. If I was raising a child and if that child I saw was having too much screen time, then guess what? You're not bringing that phone to school. Or I'm going to put some restrictions in terms of where you can surf. The only thing I want you to be able to do is basically call me if you need something. I don't want you sitting in school doing this and doing weenie pics and all kinds of stuff like that. I had a dinner last 2 weekends ago with the sheriff buddy of mine who works in a school, and he's like, you wouldn't believe the stuff that these kids are passing around in school. Taking pictures of the weenies and sending it to little girls, and little girls, taking shots underneath their shirt, and they're going back and forth, basically with kiddie porn. Instead, just saying they can't do that. You can't go to this site. You can't you definitely ain't going on TikTok. That ain't happening. There's all kinds of parental controls that you can put on these things. You can say between the hours of 9 and, 4 o'clock, you can't access anything other than my phone number. So my problem is, once again, they're trying to let government decide how you raise your child. I want to know I can trust my child. If I had an 8, 9, 10, 12-year-old kid, 14 going to school, I want to know I can trust you. I'm telling you right now, you're going to school to read, write, and play sports. I'm trusting you not to do anything. And the first time, you're going to get a warning. The second time, you might get disciplined. The third time, you ain't got a phone. It's gone. Explain to your friends, I don't have a phone. Sorry, too bad. That's it. Some people say you get 1 shot. I'd at least give them 2 shots. The third shot, you're done. I want to be able to trust him or her. I don't need the government to decide what my child can or can't do.
I am such a proponent of bell to bell, no cell in the classroom. And I think that we've proven that taking cell phones out of the classroom during the school day, kids can concentrate better. They have better communication with each other. They're actually enjoying conversations in the hallways again. And teachers have said to me over and over again, this has really been a great thing to take these sort of recreational distractions, away from children in the classroom. And now I think we have to think about screen time, whether are we looking at it as recreational screen time or are we looking at it as tutorial screen time? So there is a right balance to be used in the classroom, and getting rid of the recreational screen time, I'm a proponent for, I'm 100%.
I want to ask you about another move that you are pushing, and you're not the only one. The whole question of whether or not it's the right thing to push all students to college, or whether it's...
All right, so this is where it takes the turn, and you realize, this whole thing has been about you protecting teachers, protecting the machine, protecting the liberal indoctrination, because she smiles and she's got a soft voice, but this is what they're really concerned. Not even the AI. This is the teachers. This is the educational machine's worst nightmare.
Better for some people to attend a trade school like plumbing, electrical work, HVAC, which you can get a job that pays very, very well. But one of the things that it seems is happening is that there is kind of a push to start students on a track as early as elementary school.
Why is that a problem? Pretty much, if I see, and it's funny when I heard this question, because you just saw what President Trump did. At the meeting, and this took place yesterday, President Trump knew this got asked, and what did he do? He goes, hey, all you little kiddies want to go see some construction? And I thought to myself when he said it, I'm like, oh my gosh, he knew where Lyndon McMahon went. He understood that this is something else that's pissing off the liberals. They don't want kids knowing anything about trade. Oh, you're going to be one of those dirty kids that gets out there and actually does stuff? I'm going to college. And right now, he just completely flipped the script. today. Hey, let's go look at a construction site. Let me introduce you to some of the guys and girls out there. And Dana Bash yesterday was like, I think it's a disturbing trend. You're telling kids not to go and spend $50,000, $60,000 a year to learn how to be a, social activist. And she walked right into a trap.
Is that too early? I don't think so, because I think what we can do is look at students. What are their interests? How do we direct them down a pathway that they're going to have an interest, in school? And I believe that children need a well-rounded education, but I think we have focused too long for just that path to a four-year university. And sometimes we ignore what the actual skill sets of those students are. And so as I have looked at middle schools, and I've been to community colleges, and I look at the combinations and how these community colleges are working with middle schools, they have dual credits, middle schools and high schools for skilled trades. We are really making great advances to get our skilled workforce ready to go.
Which makes sense. I mean, middle school, that's maybe debatable, but elementary school should.
Why do you have a problem with that, Dana? I can tell you, as a young boy growing up, I'm talking like young, 6 and 7, and you probably know some young kids too. What's the first thing we do? We got in the dirt and we played and we dug stuff up. Go to the beach. Go to the beach, Dana. What are kids doing at the beach? They're digging up sand. They're working with their hands. And then, as you go forward, you decide where you want to go, what track you want to be. And it's very interesting to me. Ashley does these time-lapse photos, and she'll take a picture of one of the grandkids at a certain age, and she'll compare it to where they are today. She sent me our grandson's time lapse of when he looked like he was 5 or 6, and what his today. And when he was 5 or 6, whatever age that photo was, says, what do I want to do when I grow up? Because I want to be a pharmacist. Of course, because his father's a pharmacist. Now, if you asked him the same thing, he's probably going to have a different ideology as to what he wants to do. But at least you start getting them into a track of here's what you want to do, here's how you're going to get there, and here's how you're going to succeed. And I'm pretty sure every single one of you, if you're a little grandchild, or what do you want to do with the rest of your life? I want to be a social activist. That's not going to happen. What's next? I want to be an influencer. That's not going to happen. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, you're pretty much telling me you're destined for Starbucksdom. You're going to be making people coffee. You're going to be making people sandwiches. Because both of those two things that you have in mind, there is no longevity for. You are destined to pouring coffee, writing the name on the cup, and handing it over for somebody else. You don't have what it takes. And now what we're seeing is so many kids going to college, not knowing why they're there, except for, get stoned and drunk for 4 years or play football, and then coming out and going, now what do I do? Whereas if you just give that kid the option that you might want to tinker with things, I don't know, who knows? You might want to build something. You might want to electrify something. You might want to do something. You might want to fix cars. Whatever it is, if the kid likes it, those skills aren't going to go away for the most part. We're going to continue to see those skills. But the Democrats, oh God, no. You're going to make them work with their hands. They're going to have greasy fingers with sludge under it. They're going to build stuff. They're going to make things happen. They're going to succeed without us having to tell them what they need to say. Boy, I'm telling you right now, one of the things that these socialists have done have shown us these people are bat poop crazy. And I just saw something on television. I got to look it up. I'll cover it tomorrow. But you guys know the brand Lululemon? Lululemon makes shirts and designer stuff and all that. They're calling these people Lululenins. Lenin, like the Russian, dictator. They're Lululenins. I'm like, that's just a fantastic name.
There'd just be a focus on basic critical thinking and perhaps some of the specific training and the path should be later in a child's schooling?
Well, I don't think they're mutually exclusive. I think you can have some introduction of skilled, skilled trades in elementary school, but everything you can't direct it from Washington, D.C. How does each school work? What are the needs of that community? How are parents interacting, with teachers? And I think that is so critical as to what community needs. And that's why we really want to return education to the states.
One last thing I do want to ask you about higher ed. You sent a call to action letter.
I got to talk to you about higher education. We got to go back to there, okay? We got to go back to, we need the feeders. We need to keep feeding people into this thing called indoctrination. And you're telling kids they don't have to go through the indoctrination. Oh my, what are we going to do? Dana, how much of a college education is needed for what you do? I would have asked that question to her straight up. I know you went to college, but is a college education needed for what you do? From what I can see here, Dana, you get a nice looking outfit, maybe some jewelry, and you have somebody else do your hair, you put on some makeup, and you read. You read the questions that somebody else wrote up. Yes, you have to be able to read, but that's about the extent of what you need to do. Someone else is running the camera, somebody else is doing the editing, somebody else is doing everything. You just show up in your purple outfit and with your hair and jewelry just looking right, and let somebody sit back and let them do your makeup and read the questions somebody puts out there in front of you. So tell me, Dana, did you need college? I would love for her to answer that question. By the way, Ashley?
Ashley, you're going to want to clip that.
I love that.
The university presidents earlier this month urging them to reform their commitments to fair admissions policies, free speech, and tuition affordability, among others. If a university declines to respond or responds in a way that either disagrees with or is not in alignment with what you're asking, will the Trump administration again move to withhold federal funds?
Well, we're certainly going to always monitor what our universities are doing, but what I have seen is this incredible positive response to the letter. And universities saying, look, let me tell you what we're already doing. We're already doing this relative to making sure that we do have free speech on campus, making sure that there is room for debate as we have truth seekers that are on campuses, that we are hiring, really with a view of making sure that our teachers are going to continue to foster, free speech on their campuses, but at the same time, and we want to.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. They don't want people being individuals. They need you to be lockstep and doing what the whack jobs want these kids to do.
Have meritocracy for students who are going into school to make sure they are ready for college.
And not trying to simply replace what you believe is kind of a one track on one side of the political aisle with another.
No. This should be totally across the aisle. In fact, the letter that I received, or the response from Governor DeSantis in Florida, was showing me that at least once a quarter, at the Florida schools, they have open debates that are required, both sides of the aisle, and to really discuss issues and have the professors involved in all of that. That's what we're looking for. Open debate, open discussion. Yes, the collision of ideas is what really puts education forward. And if we just have one side or the other side, we don't have that collision, and we need it.
She mentioned DeSantis, who it probably caused her to break out in hives. I mean, he again is somebody like a kryptonite for the left. But I just love how she took that interview and understood. She was very calm with it, how she understood how Dana was trying to take that whole thing about why would you show kids how to do a trade at a young age? Oh my God, they might learn how to operate a crane and make $100,000 a year instead of like going through Baroque studies or something and just being a influencer. It's insane. All right, I've got to run, so I've got. Let me hit SV up real quick. You there? What you got? Anything before I bounce?
I actually had two stories. One was a mic drop from Clarence Thomas. It's a minute and a half video. I don't know if you could squeeze it in your quick time.
Yeah, let me
here.
let me download it real quick while he.
All right.
What did he say here? Hold on. Let me see what you said. What he says.
Well, the main thing, he drops the mic on people saying him being black means he needs to think a certain way. So he schools them.
Let me just tell you, I'm not a Supreme Court justice, and I didn't sleep at a Holiday Inn last night, but I have heard that refrain for so long. It's so tiring hearing people say that stuff. Here, go ahead while he set it up.
All right. He says, I'm not confused. You're confused. You're confused with someone who's being indentured servitude. I decline that invitation. Now, that means I'm a walking contradiction because I've deviated from their perception of what I should think. I really don't like people saying you have to do this, you have to do that. We had the saying that there are only two things I have to do: stay black and die. These mandates for us because of our skin color. Here's your skin color. There's this kind of deterministic view that you're supposed to think of this because we say so. Yeah, he's definitely the GOAT, man.
Really didn't like people saying you have to do this, you have to do that. We had this saying that there's only two things I have to do: stay black and die.
Yeah.
And that was a retort to people who had these sort of requirements for us, these mandates for us because of our skin color. And the thing that's really kind of interesting, it wasn't until later on that people began to say that when I came to this town, one of the greatest difficulties, if you think about it, was that there were those who thought that I should think a certain way.
Yeah.
And the difficulty has been that they said that, oh, you're confused. Well, I'm not confused. You're confused. You confuse me with someone who's been in indentured servitude or something. But at any rate, they think that here's the way you're supposed to think. Again, here's your skin color. There's this kind of deterministic view that you're supposed to think this because we say so. And I, of course, declined that invitation. And so now that means it's something that I'm a walking contradiction because I've deviated from their perception of what I should think. Explain to me how that is different. Here's what I've asked people. I said, when I was a kid, the Savannah Public Library was segregated.
So let me ask you a question, SP.
Mm-hmm.
Being that you have less melanin in your skin, have you ever heard in your life that you're supposed to be something because of what other people think you should be because you're white? And it's funny because what he's saying, I have heard literally all my life, and it always bothered me when I heard people call people my brother, my sister, and that stuff. They weren't talking about it because we were all Christians. They only called people brother and sister who had, the same kind of color skin of them. I'm like, what about him? Isn't he your brother? And it just, I broke that mold a long time ago. Pissed a lot of people off. And it's, I can see it happening again. There was a couple posts over the weekend, and I looked at it and went, I know where this is going. And it had a picture of, I guess there was an event for Hall of Fame Lakers. And it had, if I can remember, it had James Worthy, not Pippen, but they had like 4 or 5 Lakers, black players. And each player had a white wife. And the person who posted it said, everybody see what's wrong here? And I jumped in. Nope, not at all. There's no rules. There are no rules on anything else. You guys don't want to be stereotyped, yet then you want to uphold the stereotype. And so what Clarence Thomas said is remarkable because that is the truth. You can't have something this way all the time, and then when somebody does something different, you accuse them of being, I don't know, reverse racist or something. It's absolutely insane.
Well, all roads lead back to who, Obama. I mean, the racial politics. I mean, enough of it. They want to keep us divided.
Which is really funny because nobody talks about the fact when they can look at it that Kamala Harris is married to a white Jewish man. White Jewish man, and they didn't want nobody talking about it, nothing, and it was just so funny that she was running for president while she was talking racist crap, being married to a white Jewish guy. Make that make sense?
Make it make sense.
No. All right, one more, and I got to get out of here. Okay, so
All right.
what do you got here?
Yeah, so Gunther talks about Democrats are furious over the cost of America's strikes on Iran, suddenly asking how many Americans could have received health care with that money. Interesting. Where was that concern when Washington committed roughly $182 billion in aid and support related to Ukraine under Mr. Potato Head? If health care was the priority, why wasn't that argument front and center then? You don't get to discover fiscal responsibility only when the spending involves a policy you oppose. America deserves consistency, not selective outrage.
Because they were supporting the grift. That's the answer to the question. They were getting the money. So whoever in the think tank has caused people to point fingers like that, it's because it originated from someplace and they want people to look. Whereas before, they didn't want people to look at how much was being spent in Ukraine. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but I was shocked. Have you seen the movie Oppenheimer?
I have not.
Go watch it. It's a long movie. It's like 3 hours long. Robin and I watched it last night.
Like one of your shows.
Huh?
3 hours like your show. I can handle it.
And it was amazing. I'm like, was this made yesterday? And when I meant made yesterday, even though the movie is only a couple years old, this subject matter, it feels like we're living through it right now. I didn't know he was tied to the Communist Party. Didn't know that. Okay. Didn't know he was surrounded by commies. And so the whole movie, he's building this bomb that's going to take out Nagasaki and Hiroshima, and he's doing this, and the entire time, most of his family and friends were communists.
Wow.
Wow. My mind was blown.
There's no coincidences. That's what I say.
Not at all.
Never. All right, Barry.
Thank you
I'll
for
talk
today.
To you soon.
Yes,
See
sir.
you, everybody.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I watched that for the first time, and I can't believe I missed the movie. It's long. It took me 2 shots at the title to watch it because Robin saw me falling asleep on one night, and then we finished it the next night. But I could not believe there was so much of what we're seeing now. It happened right, I guess, during the whole McCarthy era stuff. It was a good movie. Good movie. All right, so let me do. We're heading down to the baseball game. Our driver's showing up at 4:30, so I got to run here. I have to do an abbreviated after party, but I got to get in the super chats. I'll do some video and stuff from the stadium. Pretty cool. All right, this is from Will and Kay, Patriot Love from Australia. Very good day, mate. I always wanted to say that as I get some shrimp on the barbie. Thank you very much. And sorry for the stereotype, but we just watched Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, which was so funny. Pekovsky, happy Monday. Hello, happy to you. R. Heath, anyone who thinks it's only China that's in the crosshairs is sadly mistaken. Trump is targeting our real enemies, the city of London and the EU and Canada. Pekovsky again, thank you. R. Heath, get in touch with Ashley. We'd like to talk to the ladies, Danny and the ladies out in Chicago. Flip Chicago red. Chiosop, Dems got the tariff money returned to the big corporations, and Trump wasn't able to give you the $2,000 checks. Dems screwed you up. Congratulations. Alec, bad day for Tucker Carlson. Really bad day. Neo, hey Barry, watched a little on lunch break. Working City will catch replay. Thank you. And team, watch 250th Grand Prix. Yeah, good race. Alec, this is like AI short drama. First, arrogance is punished physically and then completely crushed financially. All associates get theirs too. Interesting. Hello, Chiosop. What are the truns with bouncing? I think you meant Transformers. I got you. Alec, one thing we don't hear from fake media is the many prominent Dems openly say they will support MAGA any day over the communists. Yeah, we're fighting our own battle. Many of the people on the right said they would, especially down here, which I think is racist, they'd rather vote for the Democrat than see Byron Donald as governor. It's crazy. If all we did is feed the poor, they would never be full and we would never prosper as a humanity. At some point, they need to get up and keep up. Yep, barring mental issues or physical infirmities, yeah, do your part. I'm going to get that video somebody sent me of that lady as well. You'll see it tomorrow. Barry, that flyover was pretty cool. I loved it. I love President Trump. Let us keep praying for President Trump and his family from Game Animal. Yeah, it was awesome flyover. Moshe, you know that when you have a positive attitude, it invigorates everyone. Bingo. Our Heath, disappointing that conservative women are being discounted. Gunther's poll is an echo chamber. Shame on you, Barry. I just read it. SV put it up. I understand he's put it out there to conservatives as well, and that you are correct. It is an echo chamber. Game Animal, I am a woman. I never want a female president. Wow, it's funny. Those two things came right together, didn't they? Wow. Wow. Okay. Alec, watch them run to Boasberger to sue to put the potholes back. Moshe, as an expat living in Israel, we usually say American trends eventually come here, but we have 2 female PMs already. Interesting story. One of them came from Connecticut, Golda Meir. I remember her. All Eden, thank you for bringing this to us. As always, enjoy your show. We don't need cable, we have BC. Thank you very much. Mary, Governor Abbott is signing into law no more foreign teaching in Texas schools and also has put a hold on any more data centers being built. I'm going to talk to you tomorrow about these data centers. I don't know what people are, it's all, never mind. A lot of people get pissed. I think people get pissed at me tomorrow. Peaceful Haven Media. Barry, heard from our local GOP team leaders, a massive caravan heading to the U.S. from Mexico and Guatemala. Dreams without borders per Grok. Thoughts? They'll be turned right around. Maximus, hey Barry, don't believe in any of the garbage coming out of Los Angeles about ICE being kept out. We are deporting with ICE at an extremely high rate. Hey, haven't heard from you in a while. Yeah, that's fantastic. How's are they still counting out there? I got a video I'm going to show you guys from Spencer Pratt tomorrow. Thanks. Good to see you. Diana, Barry, you are awesome. Thank you. My 91-year-old mom and I watch you every day. God bless you and the Fanfare family. This is our first live show. We live in California. Wow. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you. Hockey Gramps, it's not as easy to hide indoctrination if AI is the teacher. I use AI all the time to build budgets, get on board or fall behind. I've been telling people, I've been trying to tell people, peaceful again. I use Grok. Yeah, I use Grok to create coloring books to publish. Also to organize my data for my biz and for creating videos for my kids' books. Very nice. And Demon of Cybertron, I did love how Trump gave Oppenheimer a truth bomb. Hey, he sure did. All right, guys. Oh, what happened to my screen back there? I don't know what happened. I'll have to check it. In any event, I'll see you guys tomorrow, and I'll post some stuff from the game tonight. Got to figure out why that screen went dark. All right, thank you. And here we go.